Kevin, who after, 2 years finally sent me a friend request on Facebook. I have seen you too in my suggested friends list as well, Kevin, and have not added you out of spite. But Kevin added me.
Wait a minute! You guys aren't even friends on Facebook?
No, because we have a united front on my greatness and your lameness, but we were not friends on Facebook, and Kevin has been posting non-stop about the Russell Wilson exit to Broncos, and he's very, very salty about that. I expect something in the intro about that information, and I do hope that Kevin...
he's very sad about it.
I hope that they do replace him with you as, the quarterback for the Seahawks.
So, again, we started the show with a non wrestling sport.
That's fine. I mean, we could talk about the mixed martial arts sport if you want. We can do that.
Let's talk about wrestling.
Okay, let's talk about wrestling. This is Powerbomb Weekly, where we talk about wrestling and things. Yes.
So there was some news that came out less than an hour ago that like you said, I teased him with the breaking news. This is the other breaking news that he actually informed me about that I put into the slideshow that we're going to do first before we even do our memes. But before we do that, we have to do the housekeeping. We have to do the intro. We have to...
Yeah.
The intro.
I mean, we have to start the show before we can start the show, but we have to tell everybody that we're going to start the show before we start the show.
Do we have to do the intro this week?
We have to do the intro this week.
Do we have to do the intro this week? We have to do it,
yes. We have to...
Remember, I don't stifle his creativity, and I just post whatever he writes.
Yeah. That's fine, man. I mean...
I took out a couple of his coughs.
You have to... You have to give art wings to fly, man, so... Let the pigeons fly, as Taj used to say about Velvet Sky's asshole.
Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's edition of Powerbomb Weekly. Brought to you in part by Kitsap Great Escape. Did you know that not only does Kitsap Great Escape have great escape rooms, they also have take-home escape rooms. That's right, you can have all the fun of your escape room in your own home. For more information, visit kitsapgreatescape.com. This week, the guys will review the AEW Revolution pay-per-view.
Revolution.
They'll break down all the action from this week in professional wrestling. Mike will preview WWE's new video game, WWE 2K22.
I have digital.
Plus, Stone Cold Steve Austin's making a return to the ring. And Big E broke his neck. But first, let me introduce to you your hosts. This man's dream match is a Hell in a Cell match against The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a consummate professional and the greatest that any podcast has ever seen. He is the great Michael Burdett.
I can't do the eye roll.
And his co-host. His dream match is an anus explosion death match. Probably against Goldust in his own basement. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joey Marcel. Again, folks, don't forget you can still get Michael Burdett into the WWE Hall of Fame. Just include the hashtag Michael Burdett WWE Hall of Fame on all of your social media accounts. And now, ladies and gentlemen, on with tonight's show.
Ah, love it.
So, you know what I realized when I made this intro this morning?
Uh-huh.
How similar is The Undertaker and Goldust's music?
That's pretty similar, yeah.
I was like, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy that they both have that to it, you know?
Yeah, so because you decided to I did some research, and we're going to talk about it. We are going to talk about it. Because it was a slow week in news this week until it wasn't. Yeah. So I had to find things to talk about. So we are going to talk about the anal explosion death match.
The things that you find at 4 a.m. when you're bored. Yes.
So, let's do the things. He's already cursed like 5 times already.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
It happens. It just does. And this useless slide. But hey, we haven't been copyrighted, but I haven't posted any videos.
Well, that's okay.
One of these weeks, I am going to post the MJF on Rosie O'Donnell video just to see if it gets a smiley.
Just to see if it gets hit? Yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't think anybody cares about Rosie O'Donnell, so we'll probably be okay.
As we said, not breaking news in the...
What's up, Marshall?
What's up, bro?
Well, hopefully school's going well for you. You know, it's very difficult for some people to pass 6th grade.
Oh, damn.
Zingers coming in hot this week.
Marshall, you have my permission to whoop his ass. This is a kid who I grew up with in Rhode Island on the streets.
The hard streets of Rhode Island, right?
Let him know, Marshall. Let him know.
Let me know what the streets of Rhode Island... Do they have streets in Rhode Island? You know, I don't know if I've ever been to Rhode Island.
He was like, his dad reminded me of like the Irish guy.
Seamus.
No, the older, like, no kidding, kick-ass Irish guy.
Finley?
Finley.
Okay, there we go.
His Marshall's dad reminded me of Finley.
Right on. Okay, well.
So here we go. And Marshall's one of the reasons I even got into wrestling.
You know, I don't think I've ever been to Rhode Island. I've been to almost all 50 states. I have not been to Hawaii because I have not left the North American continent, but I have been to almost all 50 states, and I don't think I've been to Rhode Island. If I have, I just, like, drove through part of it for a second going to, like, you know...
Dude, you lived in West Virginia, so you really don't have, you know, any right to talk about anybody else's state. So,
hey, I mean, I'll tell you something. Those meth heads are deep in them hills.
So, as we kind of said, breaking news. Scott Hall is on life support.
After suffering 3 heart attacks.
While doing a hip surgery, which is pretty routine for a person of his age.
Well, this is actually, I believe, his 3rd or 4th hip surgery. I might be wrong. If some people might remember a few years ago that they actually, I want to say before, like, GoFundMe and things like that were, like, the norm to go to. I believe they had done, like, basically a fundraiser campaign for him online. I want to say DDP was involved.
Yeah, this was when he was doing the DDP.
When
DDP was helping him get clean.
Yes, where they were donating money to him so he could actually have his hip surgery. So he's had a few hip surgeries in the last few years, and apparently he fell, hurt his hip, went under the knife, and turned out to not be a good day for him.
Yeah, blood clot went loose, and so this is actually I like this picture of him. This was from the Jake the Snake Roberts movie,
yeah,
which he had a big part in too. About the 3, you know, DDP just making both of these men, him and Jake, get clean.
Well, not only that, did you see DDP's new project?
The one on Netflix?
No. By the way, Guardians of Justice is fucking dope. If you guys have not seen it, go watch it. It's basically like every batshit crazy idea that you could possibly have for the It's like Justice League meets like the Mark Miller like Jupiter Circle meets like.
All I know is I saw DDB's character, and I wasn't sure if he was Batman or Wolverine.
He's basically Batman. Yeah, it's kind of like an Elseworlds almost. Yeah. It's actually pretty crazy, but I mean, without giving too many of the spoilers away.
So is it a cartoon or live action?
It's both.
Okay.
They use animated stuff to set up all the stuff they couldn't pay for, essentially, like big, like battle sequence. Like, there's like zombie robot Adolf Hitler or something in World War II that Superman, like Asian Superman shows up and defeats at one point. And so obviously they CG all of that stuff, right? But, hey, hon. The skulls or intimidating. I don't know
who your dad or Finley.
Yes, but no, it's actually if you get a chance to watch it, Guardians of Justice on Netflix is pretty cool. No, I was actually talking about Buff the Stuff. Oh. Buff Bagwell has checked into the accountability crib with DDP.
Nice.
DDP has posted a few videos up right now that has Buff like cooking and looking a lot better in it. So it looks.
I saw that. Well, so I do DDP live.
Okay, yeah.
But so I've seen him in there cooking and stuff like that. I didn't realize he was.
Yeah, Buff is at the accountability crib now, which is pretty good. Yes. But referring to this, definitely. I mean, Powerbomb Weekly, we send the best well wishes that we can out to Scott Hall. We hope for a speedy recovery for you, sir, for you to come out of this. You know, I hope very soon that we get to say hello to the bad guy.
So, moving on to some more lighthearted stuff, some memes. So, last week we did a nice series of Veer memes.
Yes, we did. Veer.
And I feel like they watch us. I feel like they absolutely watch us. Because
somebody has to.
Somebody watched us. Because all of a sudden, Veer is popping up at the IKEA. Hey, here's where I'm at.
This was interesting. The sad thing is that but they added this.
Yes, they added this part at the bottom.
Which is funny because, I mean, if Pierce did this on his own, this is the most personality that Adam Pierce has shown in 2 years since being at Raw, right? This right here is hilarious. I had to explain Adam Pierce to somebody the other day, and I was like, he's like Lance Storm. He was a fucking great talent in the ring, but he has zero personality. This is the most personality he's ever shown. But if this is a shot for an angle, Veer Mahan is shown in like Kali war paint as like the destruction of everyone, and he's just chilling in the IKEA. Like, why would you be threatened by that guy? As soon as he shows up, you know somebody who's good on the mic, like Drew or Roman or somebody is going to be
call
like,
us out.
He's going to be like, "Aren't you busy buying furniture? What are you doing here?"
I don't know which I like more: the fact that Adam Pierce made this tweet, or the fact that his handle is Scrap Daddy.
Oh yes, I love it. I love it.
So we're going to talk a little more about this coming up, but. You know, I love that his brother was getting beat up, but he still danced his way to the ring. He did!
Yes, he did. So, we're going to talk about this in a little bit.
Yeah. But the meme was just too hard. You know, meanwhile, he's like, Matt Hardy watching Jeff Hardy dance to the aisle.
Yeah.
Save my brother? Dance first. I mean, it was like, here you have your opportunity to make your big debut to save your brother from getting a beatdown. But no! I'm going to dance my way down, take off my shirt, pose.
Yep, I'm going to do... Jeff Hardy forgot that he is now in AEW and came out to his WWE style of doing things.
Yeah, well, yes. But I thought you were going to talk about his music. So apparently AEW bought the music.
Well, yes, I don't remember if we talked about that.
No.
But the Hardy Boy theme song is not a licensed WWE song. So it wasn't done by like Jim Johnson and stuff like that. This is a song that they had. That song is out there for licensing rights, so AEW bought it. I believe this song is actually in like some movie trailers and stuff like that. So yeah, the Hardy Boys get their Hardy Boy music back. Apparently, Tony Khan's checkbook is limitless to the tune of $7 billion.
Limitless like Keith Lee.
We'll talk about that in a minute too.
All right. Do I have anything else? All right. So let's talk about 2K. So
2K.
So initially it came out with all these people crapping all over it. I got to play it for half an hour today.
Okay. I've played it for maybe about 5 hours.
Okay. So I have played it, like
Maybe
I said.
a little longer.
So this is Kevin's copy. Kevin let me borrow his copy.
Nice.
I was actually going to go buy this on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Monday. Oh, I was going to buy this on Monday, and then you posted, I've got a story to tell. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to buy it until I hear your story because I don't want to waste the money. Kevin did buy it. I played it for half an hour, and we'll talk about my experience. But, all right, let us know what's going on with this game.
Okay, so overall, 2K, let's recap a little bit of the... Obviously, you guys can go online and you can see some of the glitches and things like that. This is just what I experienced while playing the game, okay? So, start the game up, and immediately I get a blue flash screen in the background. Now, anybody who knows anything about technology, which I don't, I'm pretty dumb when it comes to these things, but I do know...
Which is why I run the show.
Blue screen is usually very bad, right?
That's because you remember the Windows blue screen of
Yes,
death.
the blue screen of death is usually bad. The red ring of death for the Xbox or a blackout screen is usually pretty bad. And I'm like, okay. So I've had some issues where the game crashes and goes to completely black in the background, and then things are still happening, but you can't do anything with the game. Like, music's still playing, the ring, everybody's still fighting in the ring, but you can't see anything. There's...
Sort of like him holding the titles right here where they're blacked out?
Yeah, that's happened a couple times. There's a couple game modes in it. Obviously, there's like, regular play and stuff, but the game is centered around basically, you have Rey Mysterio's showcase, which, as I talked about, I was very not interested in. And then you have 3 kind of you're in control modes. You have My Rise mode, which is your created character's journey through WWE. Then you have the My Faction mode, which is where a lot of the content centers around, and that's where you do like the collector cards and stuff. If anybody's ever played any 2K games or even like the Madden football My Teams and stuff, very much the same thing where you're building up your roster for your show. And then you have the My GM mode, which is cool. I don't like the fact that you don't get to be the GM. Like, you're still making the decisions, but you have to pick one of the people to be your, like, focal point GM. Okay. So I haven't really played around too much with that mode because it's, like, Stephanie, Adam Pearce, Sonya Deville, and stuff, and I don't like any of them, so...
I thought it was where you were the kind of, like, I guess, it's kind of like when you play Madden, you click to be the coach, and then you make all the decisions and who gets paid what.
Yeah, you kind of have that style like that for My GM, and then, like I said, My Faction has, like, tower ratings and stuff where you kind of complete goals and build up, and that's, like, where you collect, you collect character cards, and they have ranking systems as they go up. So I go into My Faction because My Faction has a daily login. I would like to talk about the stupidity of the fact that they released a game on the Tuesday, so you couldn't collect Monday's rewards to begin with anyway, which was slightly frustrating. But anyway, I go in, and I'm like, all right, setting everything up. They got their little thing. Drew Gulak is your teacher when you log in. He's annoying as shit, by the way, and unnecessary, but he does have some funny moments. And I was playing the game, and I was like, all right, I wish to play the game, right? I wish to go in and start this. And it would kick me to the V currency, which is your pay currency, right? So everything in My Faction, from what they've said, can be unlocked through play. You know, you gain My Faction reward points and you get to unlock things. Then you also have the pay-to-win cause, essentially, right? You don't get anything extra for it. You just get more cash to buy up, right? And I kept getting kicked to that screen. I was like, okay, well, I'll try this other mode. And I get kicked to the screen.
We want your money.
And then but it tells me that the V servers are down.
Oh.
So I get kicked to the we want your money screen, but I can't do anything. So finally I say fuck it, and I go to play the My Rise. I go to make my character, and I realize that I always like to make my avatar as I see myself, right? Because nobody wants to see me wrestle, you know?
But when we play each other, we're going to have our avatars
we're
look
gonna
like
have
each other.
We're going to have to be our avatars, which is fine, and I'll play around with it. The created character is pretty much the same as every created character they've ever had. They still have the same old recycled tattoos. They have a lot of the same recycled gear and things. There's a few clipping issues with hair and stuff like that, because realistically, in a fighting game, long hair is just never done right. Like, it's impossible. It's just impossible to do long hair in a game like that, right? The avatars aren't bad, but you can clearly tell that they're created avatars versus the real-life avatars because they've been, digitally scanned, right? So I build my guy. I'm like, all right, cool. Unless I missed it, there's only one voice for the male. You get to pick a male and a female. There's only one voice. So you have, like, slightly ethnically pleasing, like, white guy meets black guy voice. But I didn't see an option to change the voice. That's not to say that I missed it, but if you're, I don't know, Asian, or Latino...
Maybe you need to unlock it.
Hindu, I don't know. I didn't see any voices other than this, very nice, he's like, he's
Keith
got...
Lee?
No, because he's not, like, he does articulate. He's very articulate how he talks, but he's like, look, Joey, I know that you're trying to come at me like that, but you have to understand that I'm here for a championship. Like, it's very,
gotcha.
He has a little bit of tang on his voice, but just not enough to be like, okay, which makes him much like Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar, extremely unthreatening because his voice does not match my guy's body, right?
Right.
Play the game. It's not bad. I get to do a thing with the immortal Hulk Hogan. I get to play Hulk Hogan, which was super cool, right?
Because you have the DLC.
Hulk Hogan could not beat Kushida when I played. And I thought, this doesn't work for me, brother. Oh my
gosh! I want to see Kushida whoop Hulk Hogan's ass.
He whooped my ass. I got the game is very streamlined, basic, where you have your counter buttons and you have your grapple buttons. If you've ever played a wrestling game, it's very much like that. They said that this hits different. It doesn't really hit different. It hits largely the same. One of the issues with wrestling games inherently, in my opinion, is that there's no consistent state of movement in the game. It's just like, throw a punch, grab a move, do a thing. It's all move based around that. Like, there's not a consistent flow in the game that I feel games like UFC or even like Fight Night and stuff that is mastered, where you're not like, jockeying for position and slipping and stuff like that. It's very much, you throw a punch, the computer counters. The computer throws a punch, you press the counter button. A grapple, same thing, can you counter out of it, There's not that consistent flow of movement in the game, which I've always had an issue with. Learning how to do anything in this fucking game is almost impossible, too, because, as I said, Drew Gulak gives you the intro, but they don't even tell you how to run. I had to look up the controls. I still have not figured out how to do some of the outside the ring things that you can do in the game. It took me forever to figure out how to pick up a weapon and how to pick up the table and set it up in the ring or anything like that.
Without hitting start and then looking at the screen.
Even looking at the screen for the start menu, unless I missed it, I didn't see any direction of how to set up a prop.
Oh, okay.
I just basically started clicking buttons until I figured it out.
Man, I silenced you.
It's, like I said, it's not bad. It's kind of fun, but it's definitely not the earth-shattering, groundbreaking revitalization of a game. I've had servers crash on me. I've had the servers tell me that my data, which is always super scary when you deal with a long-form game like this, that your data is not up to date or corrupted and you need to re-back up or download new data, and you're like, great, did I just erase the last 10 hours of progress that I've made? So I've had a couple issues with that. It's not unplayable. It's fun when it is playable. I don't get a sense that the storylines flow very well in the My Created Characters section. It's just kind of like you just play out a scenario. You don't really have like a big overarching thing. Did you get to create your character at all? Or did you
I'm glad you asked that question.
Okay.
So my experience, way different. So again, I have Kevin's copy. I plugged it into my Xbox. It's a physical copy. Put it in my Xbox, and it says, all right, it's downloading the patches and downloading the game.
Yeah.
And then it says, the game is playable. You can play now. And I waited a little longer because
that never works.
Right.
What that means is that you can load the menu screen.
Right. So what I did is, it was about 75% loaded when I hit the start button.
Okay.
And then it said, agree to all of the things. I agreed to all the things. It said, do you want to do an EA account? I said, no. I skipped. I'm going to do the EA account. And that might be the thing. So when you skip creating an EA account, you have one option, play now.
Yep.
Everything else is grayed out.
Yep.
You could play now. And the only thing you can play is a one-on-one. And you have 5 characters to choose from. You can be Roman Reigns, Big E, Rey Mysterio. 3 characters. Or you can be Alexa Bliss, Damian Priest, or Sasha Banks, Shayna Baszler, or Alexa Bliss. Those are the only characters you can be.
Well, you have to set up your EA account, man.
Apparently.
Yes.
So,
because everything is... Well, it's not EA, it's your 2K account.
Whatever.
Because EA doesn't make this game.
Whatever. I wanted to just be able to play and be able to review the game. So I played 3 matches. I was Roman Reigns, and I beat... As
you should be.
I beat Big E. I was Alexa Bliss, and Sasha Banks whooped my ass. And then I was Roman Reigns, and I barely beat Rey Mysterio.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, those were my... But, again, I had no idea. It just kept hitting, press Y. Y. I know Y is counter. That's the only thing I know. And apparently, if you hit the right trigger and the button just right, you might be able to do a finisher.
Well, you have to hold the button and press the button. The button triggering is a little bit weird on this. Like I said, they very much streamlined it. It's a lot of the same.
I couldn't figure out how to whip anybody in the corner.
We will go over all of this at some point in the future, and I will help you kind of get this. Because I've got it down pretty pat to the point of, like...
I was mashing buttons.
I think... So I just... in my character mode, I decided to sign. I stayed in the Performance Center. I did every storyline possible in the Performance Center before I moved on.
Sorry. And when you play now, there is no intro and there's no commentary.
Yeah, it's just a straight play option. Yes.
Yeah, it was weird.
I decided to sign with NXT because I wanted to have the full character arc. I wanted to go to NXT, dominate NXT, become the fan favorite for my guy, and then move on to the big show and then be quickly dismissed and pick up a job in AEW.
Oh, so you wanted the AEW option?
Yes, I wanted the AEW option for my guy. I even thought about just completely redesigning my entire character once I transferred to the main roster and just be like, and now he looks like this. My guy is like somewhere between Roman Reigns and Brody King kind of looking. He's like...
Oh, so you're Butch.
No, I'm not Butch. My guy is Butch. My guy, because the weight class and everything, he's like 6'4", like 292 pounds. He's big, jacked up, long hair and everything. And he's... So when you do your character, the reason why I was asking you that is to help set up your story, which is what... It basically does nothing. It just gives extra... It determines the dialogue that you will give or what the announcers will announce you with when you come out.
Right.
So you have backstories to assign your character. You have ex-MMA fighter, ex-pro football player, ex-actor, actor turned wrestler, and then you have independent talent, right? And it basically all it is that the announce team is just like... blah, 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 after dominating the gridiron, decided he needed a different challenge and came to wrestling. Because the idea that they have, and this has always been the dementia of the WWE, which is, even though they want you to have achieved some type of outside success in order for them to care about you, you don't know anything until you get to the WWE.
Yes.
So everybody is just like, it's like, what'd you do? Be like, because I picked pro athlete for my guy. It's like, well, I played pro football. And they're like, ha! Pro football. What is that crap? You're in the WWE now. Just like, yeah. And I went from making, $30 million to making $2 million.
All right. Well, for those of you that are still on board or, you're missing out. If you guys aren't here, we are going to talk about the most exciting thing that we're going to talk about all week. We are going to talk about Mike's favorite, the anus explosion death match. Man, so apparently the anus explosion death match is a match where the only way to win is stick a firecracker up an opponent's butt and light it.
Yes.
Once the firecracker goes off while lodged inside the incapacitated wrestler's buttocks, the match end. This is not true because it's been done 5 times. And this wrestler has done it 3 of those 5 times. His name is Danshoku Dino. Would you like to know what this word translates to?
I'm assuming anus.
Homosexual.
Okay.
He is the homosexual dinosaur.
I dig it. Okay. That's a hell of a name you got going on there, bud.
And one of the last ones he did, I know this is going to be no surprise to you, but he tagged with Joey Ryan.
Oh, I'm shocked.
Right.
I'm shocked at this. I felt so bad when I read this, and I was like, they drug Hayabusa into this? I was like, how did this happen?
Yes, this man is the king.
The king of the anus explosion death match.
Y'all needed that in your life. You needed it in your life.
I can honestly say I have not seen one of these, and I am shocked because I have seen a lot of stuff.
Well, if you go to the Google
and
you link on this particular article, you can watch all 5 matches.
All 5 matches.
I chose not to.
Okay. I mean, I'm curious to see how the setup of this works, because when I read this at first, I was like, well, this has got to be like a Jackass thing, right? And this is like, and as soon as I saw Frontier, I was like, okay, that makes sense, right?
Checks.
Yes, but wow, 5 of them have been done up to this point. That's, yeah. I mean, Frontier was. We should did.
So actually, I don't know if he could be the king because he's lost 3 times.
Well, I mean, I guess, but you know, Frontier was always known for like super extreme, out there, crazy style matches. They're the same people who did the crocodile match and the scorpion tank match and the piranha matches,
And the one that almost killed Sabu's father.
What is it? The island exploding match where they had to swim out into a dinghy to the thing that was in the middle of the pool that had like sharks and shit and stuff like that in it.
But this,
like,
this is the one where they burned down the building, right?
I want to say this
because they talked about this in Dark Side last season.
Yeah. I want to say this was them where they burned down the building.
Or Sabu's uncle, sorry.
Yeah, but it's like I expect no less from Frontier, but out of all of the things I've seen, I can say I have not seen this one yet, and I kind of feel that I need to.
Yes, well, let me know the experience. And this is smoke from the explosions, not his toots.
I don't know, man. When you gotta go, you gotta go.
All right, so how much of this did you get to watch? I mean, I saw a lot of it. I saw a lot of clips.
I saw a lot of it.
I don't feel that I can rank the matches because I didn't see them in their entirety, but I do think that we should talk about what we've seen.
Well, we can go over this real quick for Revolution.
Absolutely. Well, this is the main part of our show, so yes.
Yes. Well, no, I'm just saying. I got to see a lot of this because I actually spent time looking into it because I wanted to know how this pay-per-view was going to go.
Oh, I mean, I'm not saying I haven't. I just haven't seen...
Layla Hirsch defeated Chris Statlander in 9 minutes and 48 seconds. This got a 2.5 star. I agree with Dave on this. This was
a great opener.
No, it really wasn't.
It was the buy-in show. It was the
yeah, we had 3 buy-in matches before we got to the opener. Correct?
Yes.
This was not a great match. It just wasn't a good match at the same time. Oh, and it was it was a little clunky. It was clunky, and it got really good at the end. Okay?
Agreed.
I definitely feel that Chris Statlander should have won over Layla Hirsch.
I agree with that.
But, you know, I don't book for AEW yet. Hook defeated QT Marshall via sub in 4 minutes 55 seconds. Another 2.5 star match. There was nothing interesting in this match that I saw other than the fact that Hook has just an incredible natural charisma about him that makes him very fun and interesting to watch. I feel that this went way longer than what it should have. It probably should have only been your typical WWE 2-minute match where Hook just destroyed QT Marshall. Also, I'm over QT Marshall. He said he doesn't want to wrestle on TV anymore, and I say get him the fuck off TV and make everyone's lives better and happier.
I know that you don't, and I think I know why you feel that way. Because when I saw him, I honestly thought, is that the Santino Marella? Because he looks so much like Santino Marella.
I'd say he looks more like Bully. He kind of looks like Bully.
No, in that picture, but on like when I saw him on Dynamite,
he does not look like Santino.
Well, what Santino Marella used to look like, because he looks completely different now.
Oh, well, you know, that's the guy who got his neck broke that I'm glad about. Brody King and Buddy Matthews and Malachi Black defeated Eric Redbeard, Pac, and Penta in a 6-person tag. This went 17:22. I did not realize this went so long because they were going super fast.
This was your last buy-in match, by the way.
Everything in this match was awesome except for Eric Redbeard. That's really how he was just...
you could tell been a minute.
He was super ring rusty, and he just got thrown into a program with guys who have been working with each other for the last several weeks that kind of had each other figured out what they needed to do. And Redbeard was there to be the counter to Brody King as the powerhouse, and I just don't think that he really lived up to what that standard could have been. Yeah. Other than that, this match was awesome.
Yeah.
And he was not terrible. He just didn't bring anything good to the match, and most of the mistakes came from him. Eddie Kingston defeated Chris Jericho.
Okay, well, moving on. There you go.
Yeah. Via submission in 14-18. Do we not have a slide for Jericho in there?
It's out of order. There you go. It's completely out of order.
There we go. This was a fucking good match. It looks like it got 1, 2, 3, 4 3/4 stars on it. This was... I really like this. Jericho looked really good in this match.
Jericho, you could tell Jericho he didn't look like the ham.
He did not look like a canned ham that was about ready to burst out of its packaging.
And
he looked a lot better in this match.
He'd been working out. It made you remember why he was a good wrestler.
Yeah, no, that's what it did. This was a very good reminder for that. I enjoyed it. Eddie Kingston looked really good in this match. Eddie Kingston's come onto his own. We talked about him a few months ago, how he's really, really shown how good he is getting, in my opinion. Jericho was the guy to kind of help make Eddie Kingston after the last match that they did, and I think it worked pretty well. Jericho needed a win, and I don't mean on the scorecard. I mean, Jericho needed a win in performance, and he definitely showed up and did that. So
you chose Jericho to win. I picked Kingston to win.
I thought Jericho would win because he needed a win anyway.
But I think he did. He did. Even though he lost, he won in this match.
The main thing that came out of that is that after the match, Eddie Kingston decided to try and shake Jericho's hand. Jericho refused because Jericho said he would only shake Kingston's hands if Jericho won the match. So,
no, he said that if you can beat me, I will shake your hand and give you the respect you deserve. That was the condition of the match.
I thought Jericho said that he wouldn't shake his hand.
No, he would. I will. You keep telling me you want to be proved that you are a wrestler, that you have done all these things. You beat me, I will shake your hand, and that's what's set up for Dynamite later.
Okay, I might have misheard that then on that. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus defeated Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly and the Young Cucks. This was
called it
1, 2, 3, 4 and 3/4 star match again coming off of this 1855. This was a fucking cool match.
They all knew how to wrestle each other.
Yeah.
And you would think that the clunky dinosaur could not go with these 5 very talented young...
Luchasaurus is under the radar awesome for what he can do. And I love Luchasaurus. I really do. I think this dude is super cool. Jungle Boy, like I said, the experiment as a top guy is just not there. He just doesn't have the personality to do it. He's very much more athletically built than anything else. And they really did a good job of the partnership, the not partnership, the whiff of dissension between Red Dragon and Young Bucks was good for this. But we called it. I think it came out on top good. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus retain. They're over. Neither one of these teams needed the belt in order for their storyline to progress. And if they would have lost to either one of these teams, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus would have had nowhere to go.
Right, and that's what we discussed. I think we both picked this team, the Jungle Boy, because Derek's story was going to continue. Now, we got to talk about what happened before this match. Kenny Omega's music hits. And out comes Don Callis.
Yes.
Don Callis comes out and says, Kenny's not here. Kenny's not here. He's at home crying because of what you've done to this sport. And he may never come back. I thought that was when I heard about that and I saw that, I was like, oh, damn, Mike is so right when it gets to the main event.
Yeah, I thought so too. Wardlow defeated everybody. Christian Cage, Keith Lee, Orange Cassidy, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Ricky Starks in 17 minutes, 24 seconds. This was 3 1/4. I probably would have gone 4 just because, I mean, look at the guys that are in this match. Over half of them are pushing 3 bills plus, okay?
So two moments from this match, at least the two main moments in the match that really strike for me is when Wardlow and Keith Lee had the ladder.
Yeah.
And Cassidy jumps up on the ladder and tries to reach the belt while he's in the ladder. And they kind of holding him up like the scaffold.
Yeah, they had him on the scaffold side for it.
And then they tossed him. I don't think that's when he broke his shoulder, but he's legit hurt from this match.
Okay.
And then the other was Powerhouse and Keith Lee just ripping the ladder in half.
Yeah.
A beast moment.
Yeah, no, this
even if it was gimmicked, it was a beast moment.
And it set up Keith Lee and Hobbs, which we're going to get in the future, which should be good because right now they are, for some reason, AEW can only seem to book 1 out of every 5 WWE acquisitions good, and Keith Lee seems to be in the 4 of 3 demographic right now of he's just not being booked good. And I don't understand how you can continue to not book this man properly.
Well, he's only been there 4 weeks.
He's Keith fucking Lee.
I get that, but
Keith Lee should come out and fuck up everybody, and they need to...
Well, so here's the thing.
They did it right the first week, because he came out with a guy who bumped for him, and then they had him come out and wrestle another guy who's 330 pounds and couldn't work for shit. And then the other guy looked better in the match than Keith Lee because he was doing pop-ups on the top rope and shit like that.
Agree. Well, they've needed somebody to fight Powerhouse Hobbs forever.
Yes.
Because he's not had a single credible...
No. And this match was very good for the stories that it told. It's your spot fest part of the card, honestly, more so than the tag team triple threat that was going on. Again, called this one. Wardlow wins. We'll talk about what this means a little bit later.
Because that's the only thing that would have made sense for this match.
Yeah, it's the only thing that made sense, unless they were going to push Keith Lee. Jade Cargill defeated Ty Conte, 2 1/4.
So
I don't really have a lot to say on this match.
Here's what I'll say.
It was kind of bland.
It was. Well, so the coolest part of the match was obviously Jade Cargill's entrance, because she looked straight out of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, no, she looked awesome. And
Tay Conte looked amazing also. The problem is you have two... So Tay Conte is the one with all of the experience.
Yes.
Because the Jade Cargill experiment, honestly...
She's only been wrestling 11 months.
All right, and they gave her a belt, and we can decide all the reasons why. And
because she...
You're right.
Fucking is over.
And she looks like someone who should hold a belt.
Yeah, she's fucking over. That's why.
I mean, I don't think either one of us thought that Conte was going to win this match, but...
I said I wouldn't have been surprised if Tay Conte would have won, but I definitely did not expect her to win.
So I have all of the results of what we picked sitting on my desk at work.
Okay.
Because
I know we picked Jade Cargill, because the experiment will continue.
She's getting better.
She is. And the thing is that so far from what I've seen for Jade Cargill is... Here's, and I'm not trying to compare the two, apples and oranges, I get it, and I'm not trying to compare them because of complexion, all right? The difference between her and Big Swole is she's getting better, and she's trying, and she's over, and she knows how to do the things she does. The other one couldn't work.
No.
I watched her drop, what was it, what was it, Ty Conte? Like 7 times in the match at some point, okay? That's the difference. The other problem with this match, unfortunately, is that, we start... If you did the buy-in or you were in the attendance, you had This was a
6-hour show.
Yeah, you had 2 welcome, get in the door kind of matches, right? With Layla and Hook, okay. Then you've got Brody King and them, which people are going to be seated down and ready for. You fire off Eddie Kingston, Jungle Boy. Then you have the Spot Fest of the ladder match. This is your cool-down match.
It really was. Here. Go potty.
And sadly, this definitely did feel like the cool-down match, okay?
Especially with what was going to happen in the next...
We ramped it back up. CM Punk defeated MJF in the dog collar match. This was 26-33. This got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 3/4 stars. Joseph, tell me what you thought of this match.
Well, we knew this match was going to be bloody.
Yeah.
We knew that this match was going to be have all of the emotion in it. I think that I've seen only a handful of dog collar matches. I've only seen a handful.
For broadcast-wise, there's really only been a handful.
Right.
Obviously...
Exactly. That's why I've only seen a handful. Yeah. I didn't watch the Mid-Deep South stuff. I haven't watched the archive stuff.
I would say probably the Piper and Greg Valentine one, the WWF. Was it WWF that put that on? I know they advertise it a lot. That's the one where Piper got part of his ear ripped in half. That one's probably pretty good. The one with Buzz Sawyer and them is up there.
Right, and I haven't seen that one. I saw a couple in the WCW back when you had to hit 4 pillars. And those were when Vince Russo was booking collar matches, which were not great.
No.
So...
Well, those were bull rope matches and all kinds of other stuff.
Right. So, I didn't really know what to expect. And what I saw of this match was very, very, very hard-hitting. Very, very... it was a grudge match. It looked like a grudge match. It was supposed to be a grudge match. I did not think that it was going to play out the way it did. You did. And then I did like the way the Wardlow turned. I liked how it worked out.
So, in the match, we see Wardlow. MJF calls for the ring. Wardlow.
Can't find it.
I don't have the ring. MJF, you stupid son of a bitch. What's going on? Oh, no. Punk. Boom, 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 boom. Wardlow.
Oh, wait. Here it is.
I do have the ring. I'm just going to slide that into the ring right next to CM Punk and smile and walk off. That was good for Wardlow. They managed to tell a story with...
In the story.
Everybody with a story within the story. Everybody got to move forward in a certain point. Punk's win was good.
I guess I would say...
earned.
I'm sorry. No. I guess there was one part of the match there was no reason to bring tax in. I think that it had more than enough. You didn't need to have the tax.
Yeah, I'll kind of agree with that. I thought maybe that was a little bit too much, but overall, this is a fucking good match. It told a great story. It was good. Everything that led up to this match was good.
So, we're halfway through the card now. We've discussed a little over half.
Yeah.
We've discussed that this was their WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And we're seeing payoffs for storylines that have been going on for, in some cases, 2 years.
Yeah.
In some cases, about a year, but no less than 6 months on most of these stories.
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Well,
I guess the Red Dragon story, well...
No, I would say there's definitely
3 months.
Because Hook and QT Marshall have been going on for, about a month or two.
Okay.
House of Black and them have been going on for about 3 months now, right? 3 months. Kingston and Jericho are
about
pretty new. About 2 months. All the tag team turmoil stuff doesn't really matter. But
so Jay Cargill's and Ty Conti's the only match that isn't had a large build up to this match.
Yeah, and I don't know if I could say there was a storyline in the Spot Fest for the ladder match other than the fact that Wardlow needed to win so that way Wardlow could make his decision in the CM Punk match.
Okay.
The point is not the length of the story. The point is the quality of the story.
Okay. All right,
we're getting a quality story because everybody had something to do. And when somebody did something, it made sense for what they would do later.
Okay, so then let me retract my story.
Mm-hmm.
All of these matches had a storyline that was going into it that had some length to it, or a story that is going to start because of the match.
Yes, that's what it is. Is the storytelling is good. It doesn't matter the length of it. Dr. Britt Baker defeated Thunder Rosa. This wasn't as good as what I thought it was going to be.
Well, I mean, this is round 2 or round 3.
It is, and I think the problem with this match is that there's a lot of reference to
the Lights Out.
To the Lights Out bloodbath match. Plus, there's the fact that Thunder Rosa, had the thing with Mercedes Martinez that was going on. I don't know. I think the build-up to the match was better than the payoff of the match. It got better as they went on, in my opinion. Again, much like the earlier women's match. I wanted Thunder Rosa to win because I think she's over, but I don't mind. I don't mind that Britt Baker retained. The problem that I have, unfortunately, as we just talked about good storylines moving forward, is that Thunder Rosa lost and she's just back in the title picture.
Right, the story is not over.
Yeah, the story's not over, but it wasn't. The thing is that I feel like this is a WWE booked kind of storyline of the person who is getting over, who should win. Your babyface that you've turned should have to beat the ultimate heel, and the heel keeps finding ways to screw the babyface out of the championship, as is fine. But once the babyface gets fucked like 15 times in a row, you kind of stop feeling sympathy for the babyface and just be like, oh, well, they're just fucking stupid. So that's kind of how I felt with this, and the fact that Britt did this, hold on one second, and Thunder Rosa's just back in the title picture again, that felt like Raw to me.
Yeah, I feel like this match should have been 2 weeks ago, and then the Steel Cage match, which is now happening next Wednesday, should have been on this card.
Yeah, I mean, they might not have been able to get a cage in there. I don't know. John Moxley defeated Bryan Danielson in 21:05. This was a pretty fucking good match. It did have the garbage stuff that I said that would have in it, but it was also very technical. This is probably the meshing of those styles done better for American television than you'll probably see in a long time. This was a good combination of a hard-hitting style Japanese match. that ends in the fact of, I did not expect Moxley to win. I said this would go to a no contest, which it basically did because Moxley won, but Bryan was still teeing off, and then they send the security out, and the main storyline that comes from this is William Regal comes down to the match, and William Regal gets in the ring, and he goes, John! Boom! Paintbrush! You! Bryan! Boom! Paintbrush! I taught both of you better than this. Now shake hands, damn it, and get it done. And they did. So now we will have the team of Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson with William Regal as their manager. Apparently William Regal is battling some very serious health issues. That seems to be going around this week. Hope you do better, William Regal. This was a great match, great spot for everybody to be in. Fucking love that Regal's back.
And we'll talk about the spot they had in the ring. On Dynamite.
Yes. Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara with Sting defeated Andrade El Idolo. I don't know. Andrade El Dumbass. And Isaiah Cassidy and Matt Hardy in 13:22. I probably would have moved this down the card and not made this your co-main event, but I do understand you do have Sting in there, and Sting needs to be up on the card. Sting dove through 3 motherfucking tables from the top of the fucking rafters through people, okay?
Somebody forgot to tell Sting he's 61 years old!
Yes, Sting does not feel that way anymore. This was cool.
This is a man who Triple H retired, right?
Well, he retired himself because Seth Rollins...
Oh, Seth Rollins, right.
Yeah. Seth Rollins buckle bombed him and almost killed him on national television.
Buckle bomb, 6 tables. I mean, really, what's the difference?
He dove off of the awning through 3 tables through guys. It was super cool to see.
And then Sammy took one better.
Sammy took one better. This was really good. I mean,
Spanish fly off the top of the entryway.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have done that because I bet that hurt like hell. That was a fucking flat LED surface that they landed on. I bet that hurt. Once again, this match was awesome. This was fucking cool. Everybody had their spots. I don't give a fuck about Andrade. However, though, I will say, the spot where he picked everyone up and walked across the ring and dropped them on his shoulders because they had the big stack-up plex in the corner, and he picked every single one. He picked up 3 motherfuckers in the air doing a stack-up and walked in the ring and then dropped all of them. That was cool.
And that's about the only cool thing he can do.
Yeah, that's about the only thing he did that was good in this match, but he did it. Matt Hardy, go home. Didn't give a shit. Adam Page, your champion, defeated Adam Cole in 25-52. This got 1, 2, 3, 4.5 stars. I agree to that. It was not a 5-star match, but it was damn close. This was a fucking cool match. This is a fucking cool match, and this would have been highlighted and made better, in my opinion, going back, as we have said over the last few weeks, if Adam Cole didn't look like a ditzy dumb fuck for the past 3 months leading into this program.
The other thing that took away from this match, in my opinion, was the fact that we're on hour 5 of this pay-per-view, and the crowd had seen a lot.
The crowd was
felt a lot.
Pretty burned out at this point, and unfortunately, I know that we said it, but we say things, but truthfully, things get out there. I think the crowd was waiting for Kenny.
Oh yeah. Well, they teased it. They teased it at the beginning.
Yeah, they teased it, but the crowd was waiting for Kenny, okay?
And unfortunately, there was the little fuck-arounds with the Red Dragons and the...
There was, and that kind of took away from it, too, which I didn't think that they needed. I'm glad that they didn't do the same thing that they did in the Omega Page match, where the guys come down, but then they don't do anything,
right.
But then they do this, but then they don't. I'm glad that they kind of cut all that crap out and kind of did it. They let these guys pretty much have their own thing. I think the Red Dragon stuff was just so that way these guys could take a breather.
Yeah.
Overall, AEW Revolution was a fucking cool pay-per-view. It set an incredible wrestling standard that we have not seen in a long time for pay-per-view. As we've talked about, everything paid off. All the storylines looked good. They made sense. Not everybody had the best match on the card, but there were a lot of damn good matches on this card that is well worth paying the money to go check out, in my opinion.
And WrestleMania has to try to hold a candle to it.
WrestleMania will not look anything like this, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit.
Well, we'll talk probably as we get, yeah. All right, so I apologize for all of the slides being completely out of order. I thought I had them in the right order. So let's move
Remember,
on.
he does the tech stuff.
This is hilarious. So, speaking of a little bit of WrestleMania, it's fun when you bring real life into your promotion, and no one better than Johnny Knoxville to do that. You might not be able to see as good, but there was a sign. Not Johnny Knoxville did fly Sami Zayn's real phone number over LA.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn really did get 11,000 phone calls. We tried calling, me and Kevin tried calling all weekend, and it was busy the whole time.
So. Oh, I imagine so, because it's getting flooded. I mean, this is good press. This is a good way to do it. The thing is that you can change your fucking phone number, okay?
Right, which I'm sure.
So it's not like he gave out his home number, which is kind of a pain to get changed, like a landline number.
Well, I'm guessing this was a burner phone that they made just for this.
I mean, I would imagine it is that this is something they set up. Even if it is his real number, like I said, you can just go in, and the only problem I have with that is I really worry about, like, you know, doxing and swatting and stuff with giving out people's phone numbers if it's real. I hope that they got a burner phone assigned and this traces back to Stamford, Connecticut or something.
Right.
Should somebody do that? I hope that they were not stupid enough and actually gave out his fucking home phone number. Yeah.
But again, we talked about a little bit this week. Johnny Knoxville lives his gimmick, and he loves wrestling, and he's happy to do whatever it takes.
You want to know why I say that this is definitely a worked phone?
Was the fact that he's the screen.
The fact that he's the screenshot behind it, okay? Because, I mean, I don't know. I could see El Generico having this, but he would be El Generico. He wouldn't be Sami Zayn in this picture right here. You know, that's why I say that this is a worked phone like that. Because realistically, everybody's background is usually like their significant other, their kids, or like
whatever came with the default.
A default one, or like, you know, some chick on like a Harley with her ass up in the air or something, you know, or a dragon,
or a dragon,
not a red dragon.
Oh my gosh!
Yes.
I think we're gonna.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the week of wrestling. Okay, so we're gonna go. We're gonna start with NXT. Then we're going to go to Raw and SmackDown, and then we're going to go to AEW.
All right, I know I slow things down because I bitch so much about the Ease product, and we definitely have stuff we need to talk about, so I just want to go through this very quickly.
Well, actually, this is all we have left really to talk about.
Yeah, but we want to burn through this, right? Because we're going to spend a long time talking about what just happened on SmackDown. What is your breakdown? Toxic Attraction is horrible. So they made them horrible. Fuck yes, they made them horrible.
So basically, this is kind of the stuff that happened between the matches. A little bit that we should be talked about. So we have the Toxic Lounge, which is ridiculous.
That has Chippendales in it. That's up in the little rafter area. That's in the NXT area. I hate that fucking arena so much now. I hate the setup of that show. It's so bright. It's so...
You can see people going behind them to go in and out of the bathroom.
Like, it's like a fucking Andy Warhol, like, experiment fucking film or something where you're washed out on acid and colors are just flashing everywhere on you. I would love to be blitzed out of my fucking mind in that place right now and just, like, take a drop or something, because I would just be like, whoa. I mean, holy shit.
So let's talk about some of the matches now.
Okay, alright, you know what? So, Dakota Kai and Wendy Chu defeated Cora Jade and Raquel Gonzalez. What in the goddamn fuck?
Well, you know, Dakota Kai had to have her moment where she was across Raquel Gonzalez and...
Yeah, and then she had to freak out, and she was like, doing her thing. For some reason, Dakota Kai is being booked as a psycho. She's like a crazy person. She's legitimately crazy, and she's suffering from multiple personality disorder, I would say, at this point. And the problem that I have with that is that she's still allowed to wrestle. What exactly is the criteria in the world to be a wrestler allowed to wrestle other people? We worry about motherfuckers stabbing motherfuckers sometime when they get in a stressful situation. So what do? We take Dakota Kai, who is clearly suffering from mental instability, who tried to murder Raquel Gonzalez with a goddamn shovel last Halloween, and we put her in a match with the person who has caused her psychotic break. This is not how we heal. Okay, Kanye?
And even with even with her sleep style of wrestling, would you choose a better wrestler than Dakota Kai?
Yes. The funny thing about this is that Dakota Kai, okay, this is what kills me. This is how I know this bitch is no good. One, she's no good, okay? She's supposed to be this new character. She looks slightly hotter now with her hair, okay? And I think that's because it mostly, they only come out at night, mostly. Her hair is obscuring her fucking hook-nosed ugly face better now, okay? So, she looks hotter because you can't see her face. But she wrestles exactly the same. She still does that hop, skip, and a jump fucking, foot wash thing. She does every move that normal Dakota Kai does.
14 minutes was...
14 fucking minutes.
Was 10 minutes too long for this match.
So the ending of the match sees Raquel Gonzalez get hit in the knee with, I swear... So, at the house when we watched this... by the way, NXT was so horrible that I started falling asleep through it, okay? Raquel gets hit in the knee by the other two bitches from Toxic Attraction who aren't Mandy Rose, whose names that I am just purging from my fucking memory at this point, okay?
Gigi and...
I know it's Gigi Dolan, and I don't know what that other bitch's name is, okay? And as Cat Williams said, I'm only calling you bitches because I don't know your names individually, okay? I have no clue who this person was. Mandy is up in the top, and Gigi Dolan hits Raquel in the knee. I thought it was a fucking bone. It looked like a bone. They said it was a mallet, and she hit her in the leg with a mallet, but not with the mallet end, but with like the stick end of the mallet, I would say. Much like Triple H, who pulls out a sledgehammer and then proceeds to hit people with his fist, with the sledgehammer covering it. I've never understood why, if you have a deadly weapon, you would hit someone with the least deadliest part of the weapon.
The worst part of this match...
The worst part of this match is the fact that Cora Jade took a move, and she got laid out, and she was out of the ring for 4.5 minutes before Raquel Gonzalez finally lost. Yeah. And they're like, where's Cora Jade? And then right at the end of the bell, her head pops up out of the middle of the ring. She got hit with one move, and she was dead for 4 minutes.
So the problem was that Wade Barrett blew his spot because he asked where the other two members of Toxic Attraction were, like 12 minutes before this ever happened.
The problem is that all of this was a bad idea.
All right, so
this is a terrible idea. And by the way, Dakota Kai and Wendy Chu won, which means they are in the finals for the female Dusty Cup. Don't forget, this was a Dusty Cup final match. I don't even think Dusty would have booked this shit. Fallon Henley defeated Tiffany Stratton. And by the way, Tiffany Stratton can't win a fucking match either, and she's brand new to the card. Fallon is also brand new, and she's the girl who was helping out the rednecks in the back. By the way, they are literally doing a virginity storyline with one of the rednecks in the back. I'm not making this up.
He's not.
They are trying to get him laid. He's trying to find a girlfriend, and they want to get him laid, and then he eventually insults somebody by telling them that he's never had sex before, which then they make fun of him for the fact that he's never had sex before, so now everybody in the back makes fun of him for the fact that he's a virgin, which is a terrible fucking message to send out to young people.
So, not to cut you off, I'm cutting you off. So, right as Tiffany Stratton's heading to the ring, we see a Saray in schoolgirl glasses mode.
Oh, wait,
before the match.
Where's the... Let me get out of frame, okay? This is what happens. You're Tiffany Stratton.
Heading to the ring.
Saray goes...
And then disappears.
That's what happened.
So then,
Saray,
at the end of the match...
super-powered Sailor Moon person is plotting revenge.
So then...
In the schoolgirl outfit.
During the match, towards the end of the match, for some reason, smoke shows up in the entryway area. Yep. Like the place is on fire. And then on the other complete opposite side of the ring, Saray in super outfit
does the drop kick.
So it's like, what was the smoke? What was the smoke for? Did Saray start a fire?
You have to remember that Saray is Asian.
Did she start a fire?
They all have magical powers now.
Nobody was distracted by the smoke.
No. I don't know
what was the purpose of the smoke. That's what I wanted. Is it the smoke monster from Lost?
Because it was in the budget for this week. They had the budget for it this week.
Where are my Lost action figures? It wasn't. They're over there.
The fact that you own Lost action figures says a lot.
Was it the smoke monster from Lost?
Oh, my lord.
So then we move on to Grayson Waller and LA Knight actually had a decent match.
This is not a bad match. The problem with this match is the wrong guy won. And I understand. This has been going on for a long time. We kind of need to be done with LA Knight and Grayson Waller, in my opinion. LA Knight just needs to go up to the main roster because he's about the only motherfucker that can talk. Okay? He has a main event voice, and the joke for him was he had a main event voice and a mid-card talent. He has now gotten to at least co-main event talent with a main event voice, so he can definitely go up.
So the
crowd was 1,000% behind LA Knight, and as soon as Grayson Waller won, everybody just had poo-poo face.
Right, so Grayson Waller dives off of the corner of the rope across the aisleway and hits LA Knight, who's on the table. The table explodes. LA Knight's incapacitated, and then Waller stumbles over to his
body, not Veer. The one who's actually on TV, who was Veer's partner.
And Veer he kind of like struggles down, and then he kind of picks him up. So Grayson Waller wasn't even standing.
So let me help a little bit with the setup. Grayson Waller's bodyguard got the boots put to him by LA Knight, and they were attempting to handcuff LA Knight to the ring post to win, a la John Cena Batista, right? So, because if he can't stand up, he can't win the match, But Grayson goes to do the punch, he misses. LA Knight beats up on the not Veer, and then he proceeds to handcuff Veer to the ring post while he's standing on the outside. Grayson makes it over to where the bodyguard is at, who's down on his knees after getting his ass handed to him, and leans on his back, and then the bodyguard proceeds to stand up with Grayson Waller on his back while handcuffed to the railing, and that's what leads Grayson Waller to make it to his feet to beat the count.
So he was technically still knocked out because he was not standing on his own accord. But
he made it to his feet to beat the 10 count. Technically, it was it's not a bad ending. It's just kind of dumb.
Yeah.
But it's one of those endings that's like, it was just clever enough to be stupid.
Then we have the second of the finals of the
This was probably the only good match on the fucking show next to the ending in my...
Right.
Well, okay, I lie. I will...
The second half of the show was better.
You're right. You're right. I forgot because I actually started to fall asleep during the Nash Carter Wesley match.
So the second half of the show was much better than the first half.
Yeah, and that 16-minute last man standing match went on forever.
Yes.
Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray defeated Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter 11-12. This was a fucking cool match.
You didn't know which one was going to win. It
really
could have gone either way.
After the fact that Dakota Kai and them won the opener and knocked out Raquel, I did not know who was going to win this match. I figured they would do Casey and Kaden because, why not have, two shitty teams fight each other?
Right.
So
the way the Dusty Clash is going to end is that
you're going to have Dakota Kai and Wendy Chu versus Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray.
Right, and then the blonde who feels jolted because Io Shirai picked a new partner is going to cost the match, and then Dakota Kai and Wendy Chu are going to win.
If Dakota Kai and Wendy Chu win the Dusty Club,
they're going to win because Zoe is going to get mad and get a throw fit.
It was Zoe's idea for her to pick a new partner. If they win, you might as well take those fucking platinum-encrusted boots of Dusty's that you guys have had made and melt them down into a giant dildo and then proceed to shove it up the Rhodes family's ass.
Enough.
Nash Carter and Wesley defeated Drew. They came to a no contest against Eichner and Marcel because I don't fucking remember. I fell asleep.
Because the match was not supposed to be MSK. It was supposed to be the
thank you
Diamond Mine.
Oh, thank you for reminding me this because this was supposed to be the cap off of the Dusty Cup leading into it, and the Creed brothers. Joseph, I forgot how the show started. Do you remember how the show started?
Yeah,
with
they're laying on the floor.
How bad were they as actors?
Horrible. Which makes me wonder, Because it's now a big old whodunit mystery. Are the rednecks going heel?
Well, we know who did it.
We don't.
It was...
It could have been 3 different groups.
So, I forgot to mention this, and I apologize, but I feel that we need to go back and rehash this just for a second of... They were outside. It was raining in Florida, mind you, okay? And the only one who was not afraid of getting wet was Roddy Strong. Because he ran out into the rain and didn't
run around like an idiot.
The camera guy who shot this, for some reason, felt the need to do this with the camera. I can't... You are not fucking Scorsese, dude, okay? Whatever you were doing was terrible. And he just, like...
Get a tight shot.
Tightening and pulling back. And the Krieg brothers are sitting there, and I'm going to do my best, Krieg brother. I just got my ass handed to me. There's, like, tire irons and shit laying around in the parking lot, and these guys are like... It was like when fucking Pee Wee Herman got stabbed in the heart at the end of the first Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie. Just they were like horrid,
like Peter Griffin.
And then they did a spot where they go to the back, and they're in the medical facility being looked at, and they're still going. As Raquel comes limping in because she got hit in the knee with a dinosaur bone. Fuck this show. Dolph Ziggler is your new fucking NXT champion because Braun Breaker's going up to the main show, and the only thing that was tradition of NXT that is left over from the Triple H era is that if you go to the main show, you have to lose your last match. It's the only thing that's left from the Triple H.
Right, because Pete Dunne did lose last week.
Pete Dunne will lose. Braun Breaker lost the championship, so that way your mid-card Raw talent, who's on Raw, is now your NXT championship, so that way Dolph Ziggler could step back and continue to stroke himself off to the fact that he's now held every single championship in the WWE.
All right, so the other thing, let's talk about...
and it was a fucking good match.
Yes, that match was amazing. So let's talk about the rest. So... Did they really have to have them talking in a barbershop? I mean, how really?
Well, I mean,
I feel like whoever is running NXT is like, let's take every stereotype, every racial barrier that we can toe the line on, and just throw it all in the show.
Well, it is because I mean the problem with that is, and we'll do a quick talk about this just for a second. The thing about it is that I have an issue with is the barbershop is part of black culture.
Understand?
It 1,000% is.
So is Japanese schoolgirl outfits turning into superheroes.
I mean, yes. But I guess what I'm getting at is that there's things culturally that kind of work, but the fact that they've hammed it up so bad
that's what I'm talking about.
With how they've shot it makes it pretty bad. Because, like, the rednecks are in a bar drinking, talking about trucks. Well, of course, they're rednecks. The prissy Beverly Hills elite girl is upset because daddy can't buy to win her a match with her credit card. And then the Asians all have mystical superpowers and stuff. So yes,
and you are correct. Whores are in the whore lounge.
Everyone is a stereotype character that has the dial turned up to 11, which is really hurting them. And I don't know. Carmelo just seems less interesting as these vignettes keep happening.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not the barbershop setting, it's the way that they talk in the barbershop.
Hey, I think I should have a match. Yeah, have a match. I think it should be like a ladder match. Yeah, let's do a ladder match.
Who's the guy who's like randomly says Carmelo's catchphrase for no reason? Like in the middle of the conversation, he's like, yeah, because, and it's like the white guy. He's like, because when Melo shoots, Melo don't miss. Be like, Tony D had a fucking promo. And I hate that I was awake to see this. He was literally at an Italian restaurant where he proceeds to tell the story that basically his cousin Mikey owns the restaurant now because he had the former owner murdered.
I didn't even put that one up there. Lash. Okay, now we're getting Lashley versus Nikita match.
Fuck my life. I did see that too. Oh my god.
Did Nikita Lyon look stoned as hell?
I mean, I don't know.
And then Lashley basically took your material saying, oh, did your mom just get rid by all the road ards?
Yeah.
Chase U, again, Adrian Chase, just his stick is swearing at people.
Yes. And they let him say shit and bullshit about 4 times in the thing.
They almost didn't bleep the motherfucker.
They almost did not catch that, which was bad. I also don't understand why... Like I said, the most over person on the show is Chase U, and because he's now over, they had to make him into a D-bag again this week. But that's why he's over, is because of the character.
So NXT
fucking sucked.
And we're getting ready for a stand and deliver pay-per-view that we still know nothing about.
No, other than the fact that yeah.
I think we've got one match.
Fuck this show. This show's... Well, yeah, we'll have Dolph Ziggler, and we'll probably have 3-way for the belts. We might even have a 4-way, who knows, for the tag team titles.
We know who's fighting the women.
Yeah, and we know who's fighting the women. This show sucks, and it's fucking painful to
Remember
watch.
last year's Stand and Deliver?
Yeah.
Remember that amazing...
Where we were so excited for this? I am not excited for this show at all.
Alright, so we're going to shift now to the Monday Night Raw.
Fuck Raw.
So, for those of you that were not in attendance at Madison Square Garden, let's show you... in the 3-hour show, let's show you 45 minutes of the same 5 minutes.
Why didn't you film it? You clearly did. They did. They had cameras there, they said.
They never talked about who we actually fought.
Why didn't they broadcast it, I guess they should say. Why did they not broadcast it?
Because they didn't want to bring up the fact that they had no real good opponent, because it's all about the beatdown afterwards. It had nothing to do with
Who cares if he didn't have it? I don't give a shit about that. Why did we not have the MSG show streamed on Peacock?
I don't know.
Randy Orton and Riddle are now your new fucking tag team champions again. Randy gets on the mic and basically cuts the most sincere promo he's ever cut in his life and says that Riddle's his best friend now.
And I believed him.
And I believed him, which is good, which means the Viper's going to turn on Riddle.
I've never had this much fun in my life. I've been doing this for 40 years.
20 years?
20 years. Oh, he's 40 years old, sorry.
Yes.
But I believed him for a second.
I did. I believed him for a second. I'm glad Randy's having fun for this. And, hey, guess what? Alpha Academy just got fucking buried right before WrestleMania. Thanks for playing, guys.
And Seth is a psycho again. Didn't we see this version of Seth before?
So, the whole point of this match was to basically... And the sad thing is, it was a fucking good wrestling match.
Oh, it was a great match.
But the basic point of this was to make sure that they buried, well, pretty much everybody except for Randy and Riddle.
No.
Because Gable and Otis lost. Chad Gable took an RKO from a fucking moonsault off the top rope by Randy Orton, which was super cool.
He timed it perfect.
Always love to see that. I'd love to take a fucking out-of-the-nowhere RKO from Randy Orton. That'd be good. Kevin Owens has an emotional breakdown on the steps, while Seth Rollins looks like he just watched his parents get murdered in a dark alley and is now on his way to becoming
Rey Mysterio. He did this with Rey.
Yes.
This was the precursor to Rey losing his eyeball.
So the reason I say is this fucking fucked up and buried everybody is Chad Gable and Otis don't have a WrestleMania match now.
No.
Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens don't have a WrestleMania match now. We'll talk about that in a minute. I know what's happening. Seth Rollins looked like fucking dumb, and then Kevin Owens just sat on the side of the ring steps and pouted.
But he had an idea.
Also, what is the point, again, of having contract signings for matches if the only way you can get on the card to WrestleMania is to somehow, like, do stuff? Like, why? This is the question I have, okay? Why is Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins so downtrodden and sad that they don't have something booked for WrestleMania? Just show up! That's what everyone else on the card has done.
Because here's the thing.
Just be Johnny Knoxville and just say, I'm going to fight fucking Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. And guess what? It's happening. Seth Rollins, just come out and say, hey, at WrestleMania, I'm going to fight Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns in the championship match. You can't do that. They have a title match. Fuck it. Why does Logan Paul get to be here? Why does anyone have a contract signing at all anymore? Just show up!
So here's the thing that...
By the way, I'm going to talk about that in a second when we talk about how KO is going to get to WrestleMania. You.
Me?
Yes, you.
So this whole storyline is actually not working out in their favor. Because they're talking about how they don't have a WrestleMania moment. They don't have a WrestleMania match. Neither does 3/4 of the card.
No.
Like, neither does anybody else.
And apparently, I don't know if you have this in it, but apparently the rumor is that Seth's potential WrestleMania match is going to be against Cody now.
Yes, I was going to mention that.
Okay.
The reason they haven't made a match, they haven't finalized Seth, is because they haven't finalized a contract.
Braun Breaker and Tommaso Ciampa defeated Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode in the past after the NXT thing that happened.
And it was a great match.
It was a fucking good match, and it definitely proved while Braun Breaker is getting pulled up with Tommaso Ciampa. I hope they keep these two together to be dominant. I'm sure they'll fuck it up because I have no faith in humanity at all.
So Braun
Breaker was told the same thing that Ronda Rousey was told. He needs to smile more.
That was the only constructive criticism people could give.
And the thing I say with that is why?
Well, here's the thing,
why does he need to smile more?
I thought he was smiling plenty.
Why does he need to smile more? Why? Why does Ronda Rousey need to smile more? You know what happens when you take the baddest bitch on the planet and you make her smile? She doesn't look like the baddest bitch on the planet anymore. You literally have a guy who is the son of a man who was named the Dog-Faced Gremlin.
Oh, can we talk about that rumor? I want to tell you about this. Let's talk about this rumor.
What? That Scotty's the dad?
No.
Oh.
So there's a rumor going around right now. I don't have a slide for it. This is just something I thought of.
No, good. This is part of the discussion.
So apparently, the rumor is now they're going to induct Rick Steiner into the Hall of Fame. Rick. Single.
They're not going to have Scott come back. Scott's banned.
But here's the thing. And I explained to Dad why this was a problem.
Okay.
To induct Rick Steiner into the WWE Hall of Fame, not the Steiner brothers, not Scott Steiner, is the same as saying, all right, you know what? Peanut Butter and Jelly, you guys had a great run. Peanut Butter and Jelly was awesome. And you know what? Peanut Butter, you went on to do some things with chocolate, with caramel, with all these other things. And they're all wonderful, but we don't like the way you went. But Jelly, we like you. So let's induct Jelly. Well, Peanut Butter's got all of the stuff. Jelly is just jelly. Well, Rick did nothing else but be with Peanut Butter.
The thing with that is that I don't think Rick would take it without Scotty.
I hope not.
They're not going to induct Scotty because Scotty's a crazy person. So unless Scotty somehow is on his best behavior
or dies,
which okay, are we going to get into that right now? Okay,
I'm just saying
we're going to take a pause in the show to discuss the fact that they also announced who the second inductee. Keep in mind, we're 4 weeks out from WrestleMania at this point, and we have now gotten our second inductee for the WrestleMania Hall of Fame, which will be Vader. Keep in mind, Vader's dead. And people for years were trying to say, why has Big Van Vader not been inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame? And then they waited for the motherfucker to die until they decided to induct him in the Hall of Fame.
Because that way he can't say bad things about them at the induction ceremony.
Leon would have wanted to be in the Hall of
Fame. I know. Mick Foley talks about it all the time.
Yeah, it's a fucking travesty.
But apparently, they only wanted to do Undertaker this year, period. Can't wait to see who the celebrity is. Johnny Knoxville?
No.
Logan Paul?
Probably at this point. Fucking is Trump one?
He's already in the
Can he be in again? Can they trump it? Can he go in a second time? They'll probably do that. Omos. Almost. The Colossus that is known as Omos has defeated Apollo Crews in 2 minutes and 40 seconds. You remember when Apollo Crews was like the new hot shit when he went crazy and decided that he was like a Nigerian prince and was going to like make people pay by... What was it? He was going to give them the steel. And then he fucking dropped a set of steel steps on Big E's ass. And then, now he can't fucking do anything.
But this setup, the match with Commander Stereotype.
Which is why the only reason this happened is so that way Vince can sit back and watch two big guys do things with each other who can't do anything.
The sad thing, the really, really sad, I was more invested in looking at Commander Stereotype's ribbon bar. And it's either a Navy or Marine Corps ribbon bar that he was wearing upside down. And I could point out, and I have most of the ribbons he has.
Nice. So you outrank Commander Stereotype. Okay, so now we're going to
Captain Stereotype.
Oh, no, because he's Commander Aziz. I mean, he might have...
Can we please just stop? I have said many times on this show, my love for The Miz and the things that Miz does.
I like that you put Paul Logan.
Oh, yeah. Again, please just stop. Stop all of this.
This is fucking terrible. This is not good.
This is a 15-minute swerve, stupid...
This is a bore fest that sucks.
The crowd didn't want to be
died
swerved.
to death on this. And for those of you who pre-ordered, or for those of you who want to buy the DLC packs, or like me, pre-ordered the entire season pass for the new WWE 2K game, we're going to get Logan Paul as a playable character. You cannot tell me they did not add Logan Paul so that way people on the internet will upload videos of them beating the ever-loving fuck out of him with a kendo stick for 25 minutes. Logan Paul and Machine Gun Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
We're missing some names.
And half the current roster is in AEW.
They have, what's his name? Fucking T-Bar. T-Bar is Dadrian Dajaki or whatever. Like he wasn't. And he's also T-Bar on the map, too.
Mia Yim's in there, too.
Mia Yim's in there. It's the most outdated. The question I have is, why didn't they put more legends in the game to supplement the fact that most of those motherfuckers don't work there? The Brian Kendrick is in there. I had to wrestle him. I beat the shit out of him for being a fucking crazy person. Now, let's talk about the match that I thought happened last week, which goes to show you how many times these motherfuckers have to wrestle each other every week to where I can't remember who's on the show and what happened when they wrestled whoever. Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, who are now a team because they look like Dominatrixes, apparently wrestled Carmella and Queen Zelina because they look like
they have the belts.
Ball gown bitches.
They have the belts.
This is another one of those stupid fucking matches where the champions have to fight the challengers, and if the challengers win, they get to fight the champions, I think, for the tag belts. Or they just fought each other. I don't know why. This is like the 30th time this has happened. I only want to talk about the ending of this. No, I want to talk about two things in this match, because I want to talk about how fucking upset I am that nobody can book Rhea Ripley properly. Whoever is the agent for the Rhea Ripley match, fucking shoot yourself. Okay? I don't mean that in a suicidal way. I mean, shoot yourself in the fucking foot, or at least blow both of her feet off, because that's exactly what you've done to this poor girl, okay? The reason I'm saying this is that every Rhea Ripley match is booked exactly the same, that I don't understand why this is happening. Rhea, that everyone is afraid of, should be, legitimately, because she's your female Hulk Hogan, according to internal reports, and should be booked as a babyface from this point moving forward. From Vince fucking McMahon himself has come out and said it.
You're angry today.
Nobody wants to fight Ripley. But Ripley gets tagged in from Liv. Ripley gets in. And Ripley does the same spot every time. She's like, whatever, little girl. And then the little girl goes to do something and she bumps her off. And then the little girl goes to do something and she bumps her off. And then the little girl goes to do something and Rhea catches her like in a weird strength position and she's like, what is this stupid bitch trying to do? And then the stupid bitch catches her like in a roll up and flips her over and then kicks her in the face and Rhea has to sell for the next fucking 15 minutes. It's the same spot over and over again. It makes Rhea look dumb as shit because she's supposed to be a babyface, but she's wrestling like a cocky heel. So when she wrestles like a cocky heel, Joseph, what happens? As she's a babyface character, she looks like a stupid bitch because she just got beat up by acting cocky. So she doesn't look like a babyface anymore.
Right.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Booking. Bad. Also, Rhea Ripley, your powerhouse monster, has to give Liv Morgan the hot tag.
Oh, that's what you wanted to talk about?
It's the other way around. Liv Morgan, your scrappy little fighter girl, is the one who gets isolated, and she gives the powerhouse the hot tag, and Rhea comes in and cleans house, and does not act like a stupid cocky bitch, and wins the match. Simple booking. No, how do we have to do this? The only way that Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley could beat Zelina fucking Vega together is to have Carmella get off the apron and go to the announce table and proceed to blow Corey Graves at the front desk, and Zelina tries to tag out, and Carmella's not there. Because keep in mind, Corey Graves and Carmella are in a relationship together, and they have a TV show together where they talk about drinking each other's urine or something. It gets worse. It gets worse because Zelina's like, what are you doing? What is happening here? Carmella, get back on the apron. I need to tag out. Liv Morgan goes to roll her up. Zelina Vega fucking kicks out. Zelina Vega proceeds to make her own comeback. And then she gets beat. So Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, arguably your number 2 and number 3 top baby faces on the roster, and we'll say the number 3 and number 4 position.
Who's number 1?
The EST. The
okay,
EST,
right, she's on
the
Raw.
EST is your number 1 babyface.
Okay.
Behind her is Rhea Ripley, followed by Liv Morgan.
Okay, I'll agree with that.
Becky is your number 1 female star, followed by Bianca, followed by Ripley, followed by Liv, in my opinion.
Where's Alexis?
Alexis is down right now because Alexis came back and then she left and then she came back. She's going to leave again because she's about to get married, okay? Alexis might be like number 5, okay?
Sure.
But your number 2 and number 3 top baby faces of the company can't beat Zelina Vega on her own. Finn Balor defeated Austin Theory in 8 minutes and 40 seconds.
Thank God.
I'm happy Finn Balor's back in the main event. SmackDown.
So
Do you have anything to say about Raw?
You forgot Edge got edgy.
I don't give a fuck. Oh, that's right. I forgot about this. Okay. I forgot how the show went off the air because...
So here's what I love.
Okay.
May I?
Yeah,
May
go,
I, please?
go. I need a minute.
All right.
I need a minute.
So the show ends with Kevin Owens calling out Stone Cold Steve Austin. I want you. I want. He says, I want to fight somebody from Texas. I'm not going to fight. And then he names all those Texas people and why he's not going to fight them. I don't know if you want to go into them individually, but I'm not going to.
I don't care about the individual thing.
So he's like, I want you. I want you on the KO show to show you the fraud that you are, blah, 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 blah. Do you want to say anything else about that portion before we go to the next step? Don't go to the next step. I'm taking the next step. You talk about what happened on Raw. You can't talk about anything else that happened after Raw. Go for it.
Okay. So
there's really not much more to say.
This, however, though, goes to prove my earlier statement of, why didn't he just do the fucking KO show for WrestleMania anyway?
Well, this has been
dumb.
This is something they've actually been working on for 6 weeks.
But it's a dumb fucking setup.
I agree.
It's a dumb fucking setup because the whole point of KO doing all of this shit with his best friend Seth Rollins is so that way they could have a match at WrestleMania for the tag team championships. But the tag team championships as the belt entity was the least of their worries. It was just so they could get on the show.
So he did what you said.
He just did what I said he should do, is just be like, guess what? I'm on the show. So that whole 6 weeks of television you just referenced was completely fucking wasted because all he had to do was say, I'm going to be at WrestleMania, because now he is. Why? Because he said the fucking 4 most dangerous words in professional wrestling. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I was talking about him making fun of Texas for 6 weeks. So what happens? So he calls out Steve Austin.
Yeah.
At 9 o'clock Eastern, 11 o'clock Pacific.
Yeah.
The next day, the very next day, WWE, or maybe we're to believe Steve Austin did, was able to get a drone to follow him riding his ATV and drive through the desert.
I was glad you were going to mention that. I was like, Steve Austin did not pay for a fucking helicopter drone to film him driving his Forerunner through the
We get this great shot of Texas and him just through the... And then we get this beautiful production, and he, not like a webcam, cell phone selfie, we makeup, lights.
Yeah.
And he's like, so I hear somebody wants to call me out.
And Steve,
oh my God. And I'm supposed to believe that this wasn't predetermined or
You want to know? Do you want to know why this is working, though? I'll tell you why this is working. Because every single person who I talk to at work who is a wrestling fan, even those who are non-wrestling fans.
Why aren't they watching your show?
I tell them. A couple people said they would tune in. They had some other shit to deal with. But also, my crew is like super small right now. We work the late shift, right? Anyway.
Why is this working?
Well, I'll tell you why this is working. Because everybody there has heard me talk about wrestling. We talk about wrestling with some of the other wrestling people. As I said, Ian's working brother is one of my co-workers, right? And everybody goes, did you hear Steve Austin's going to wrestle at WrestleMania? And I have to go, Steve's not going to wrestle at WrestleMania. He's just doing a segment that might have some form of physicality in it.
Right, exactly.
He's not having an actual match. He's not going to be in the main event. And that's why this is working. And that's why I said Raw would do 2 million views with Steve Austin when he came back, is because people heard the name Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania, possibly having another match, and everybody is buying into it, not realizing he's just doing a fucking segment that will have some extra form of physicality more so than a stunner.
I did not realize he lost his last match at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
All right, so SmackDown. Oh, I have some questions about SmackDown. I have questions. I am taking the lead on this shit.
Go for it.
So, SmackDown starts with Brock coming out of Beast. Brock wants blood. Brock has been bled. You made the Beast bleed. I want blood. I want blood. I want blood. Paul Heyman comes out. Oh, you silly man. The tribal chief isn't here. What are you doing? And so then Brock chases... Oh, first of all, Brock either almost decapitated Pat McAfee and or someone in the third row, because he chucked that title belt out of the ring.
Yeah.
And he gave a very powerful promo. Brock was like,
Brock's promo was great.
Don't give a damn about this belt.
Yeah. Which, by the way, thank you for completely devaluing and destroying the Raw Championship by saying that you don't give a damn about it and throwing it into the ring.
Comes out.
Yeah.
And he chases him out the ring.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump ahead. We can talk about the break to show that. We're going to jump ahead a little bit. The Usos have a match. Where was Brock? Why didn't Brock come out and destroy the Usos?
Well, they said so. They said on the mic. They said on the mic that Brock Lesnar, because he's upset. Brock's having a tissy fit because Paul's left and Roman's not there. They specifically said on commentary that Brock Lesnar has left the building.
Okay. I must have missed that.
Yeah.
Okay, so. Missed opportunity.
Yeah?
Brock should have destroyed the Usos. Not what actually happened. Okay. Wow. So, let's talk about the first match. Butch.
Well, the first match was Xia Li defeating Shotzi in a dark match.
Yeah, okay, sure.
I'm glad that Xia Li... I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, man, SmackDown has no women. And then I remember that they have no women. And the women that they do have don't wrestle on television.
So, we're going to start with, we brought a friend. We brought a friend. Now, I will say that I was surprised it was Pete Dunne. I didn't. That's not who I thought was going to show up. I don't know who I was thinking, but Pete Dunne was not the person I was thinking. You guys know him by many different names, but I know him as Butch. I'm like, who the fuck is Butch? And then we see Pete Dunne, who looks like he always looks like he's smelling someone else's poop, and he looks like God, I hate my name.
Yes. Oh wait. Not only did Pete Dunne hate his name, okay, because they called him Butch, they also turned him into Mini Sheamus. Okay.
Now, here's the thing I will say.
I'm not making this up.
Here's the thing I will say.
Okay.
I will say one thing. And Dad said this too. He does look like a Butch. He does look like a man whose name could be Butch.
No, he does not.
Yes, he does. He looks like somebody who was working on the docks, whooping your ass named Butch.
No.
Anyway.
He does not.
Okay.
I will say Pete is not like a super threatening name when you think about it. But also, the name Butch is kind of like, what? They could have called him, I don't know, any fucking thing else. Or just stuck with Pete Dune. Why did they have to say...
Because he's not the bruiserweight. Because he's...
Exactly. He's not the bruiserweight anymore, which is dumb. And he came out looking like... Tiny fucking Tim. Okay? I expected him to go, please, could I have some more?
I didn't realize he was so much smaller than Sheamus.
Yeah, Pete Dune is not big. So, the thing that I want to talk about, that I'm coming for that is, yes, they made Pete Dune look like mini Sheamus. He's in boots. He's in
the jacket.
Camo cargo pants. He has on a wife beater and suspenders with a jacket. And he also has on one of those, like, Bowery Boy fucking bowler hats kind of thing. Except for he still has his man bun on, so his hat was sticking up like this the whole time. Well, actually, because the hair was over here, it was sticking up like that the whole time. It was fucking embarrassing. Why, if they came to me and said, like, just imagine you're at NXT, okay? Imagine you at home, you're at NXT and you're working at your job and you're having fun and you're doing your things, but you know everybody's getting fired, you're doing things, you're just trying to smile and be like, yeah, 2.0, it's great, it's great, it's great. And Bruce Pritchard comes up to you and says, kid, I got good news for you.
And the first thing
you're going to go to the main roster. The first
thing that's going to go through my mind is like, please don't make me do, like, please don't do what you did to Killer Cross. Please don't do what you did to Killer Cross. Please don't do what you did to Killer Cross.
The first thing that goes through my mind is if Bruce Pritchard walks up and goes, kid, we're sending you up to the main roster, I would go, why? Be like, no. Please no. At least here I'm something. There I'm going to be Butch. Apparently the joke is, and this is too much internet reading into too much internet, is because Ridge Holland's real name is Luke.
Right.
And Butch, they're going to do a bushwhacker thing with him.
I read that.
Which is why he was in the camo pants. Which goes to show me that if that is true, your creative is fucking dumb. And every single one of them needs to be waterboarded.
Oh, I forgot the most important, exciting news for NXT.
Yeah.
A-Kid's going to be there next week.
Cool. I love A-Kid. A-Kid's fucking talented.
Can't you wait to see what they do to him in NXT 2.0?
I'm surprised they called him A-Kid. I figured they would have renamed him. Yes. He'll probably have a new name when he shows up next week.
All right, back to SmackDown. So, Butch.
Jesus God.
So then...
Christ.
So then we're going to talk about the spot.
They're just doing the League of Nations.
Okay, we're going to talk about the spot.
Okay.
So last week I complained. I didn't even complain, but I overreacted in the fact that Randy Orton was hurt. Orton was hurt, and the cameraman was like, let's show you all the hurt. Let's show you everything. You're like, no, it's not as bad as you're making it sound.
It was not as bad as you're making it sound.
But you could see the referee checking. So then we apparently break Big E's neck, and the referee...
No, not apparently. The motherfucker's neck is broken.
Right. And the referee's like, I need to check on him, but the match is still going. Like, she was like so... I felt bad for her.
Okay, so I want to recap this a little bit for people at home. I'm sure anybody who cares, it's out there, it's on the internet, you can see the clips for it. I was shocked at my re-airing of SmackDown that they actually showed it. I thought they were going to cut away from it, to be perfectly honest.
They didn't know at the time.
How do you not know that this motherfucker's neck's not broken 2 days after, or a day or two after SmackDown airs?
Gotcha.
Yeah, because I don't get SmackDown
I forgot.
uploaded immediately. I get SmackDown Saturday morning to Sunday morning.
I don't think you can not show it.
Through. I mean, I'm surprised. They've cut away from other things.
All right, anyway.
I'm surprised they showed it. So we'll talk about the incident. Ridge Holland is on the outside, and Big E go to the outside. And Ridge Holland goes to do a overhead belly-to-belly suplex onto Big E. Now, this is a perfect storm of errors, okay? Because it's neither one of theirs fault, but it's both of theirs fault, okay? And I'll explain how from what I saw. Again, I've kind of... One of the things I hate...
I would like you to talk about this... No, please.
Okay.
We have a section when we're going to talk about injuries. So please take your commentary to the end, because I want to talk about the League of Errors. And so you're going to... Trust me. Please.
So what am I talking about in this segment, then?
talk about the fact that don't talk about how the injury happened, but what the response to the injury.
Okay.
Because I said the referee was freaking out, like she wanted to check on things, but she didn't want to check on things.
Okay.
I started to deflate you, but I have a reason.
I was like, damn, man. Just knocked the wind out of my sails on that. So anyway, apparently a bunch of things that I can't talk about happened, which then leads to Big E getting his fucking neck broken. And the only person who seemed to legitimately understand at the moment that Big E was hurt was Pat McAfee, who looked like he just saw a ghost. Because I imagine being on a football field and seeing guys get their neck broke, he knew what this looked like and was just like, ooh. I do appreciate, as much as I hate him, I do like Michael Cole's commentary where he tried to keep things moving forward and not addressing on it. I think if anybody, the professional at the ringside who was handling this the most was probably Michael Cole personally, from what I could tell, where he would drop in and drop out for stuff and try and coordinate. I don't know what it looked like in the arena. We haven't gotten any videos or anything like that coming out of it. Pete Dunne looked very concerned about how the hell they were going to do this. I will say this with the ref. I definitely do feel like that little girl did not know what the fuck she was doing. But I will say I clearly saw her push the button on the mic and say things on the mic. The issue that I had with it was...
like, she kept trying to call the match, but she kept looking over to see what the hell was going on.
Yeah. Like, hey, Big E's not in, Big E's hurt, Big E's hurt. The only thing... I have two things that I'll say for this that kind of suck. One, I hate that they had to finish the angle. I hate that they had to finish the angle of Kofi losing, Kofi getting the beat down, and then Butch getting in the ring. Sorry, Pete fucking Dunne. I'm not calling you Butch, just like I'm not calling Walter Gunter, okay? The Bruiserweight gets in the ring and proceeds to put the boots to Kofi. Kofi does not give a fuck about any of this and is busy staring outside the ring at Big E to see if he's okay.
Legit best friend.
Pete Dunne is very just like... He's like, tonight of all fucking nights is the look that he has on his face of, I'm Butch, I have to do this angle, I'm stuck here doing this crap.
It's the first match of the night.
And I might have just watched a guy die on the outside ring, and I can't do anything to help him because I'm staying in character.
And it's the first match of the night.
Yeah, and it's the first match of the night, so we're definitely getting that. I don't know what the response time looked like from the outside of the crowd from where they shot it. I don't know how quickly they got to some of these things. I don't know, but I definitely feel, and this is the second part that I want to talk about, if I'm Big E and I'm awake and conscious and I can't move and I'm literally laying there waiting for help to happen and they play out a fucking angle in the ring, I am not having a good night.
Well, I do, like you said, Michael Cole did say, just so you know, medical personnel are our ringside. We're not going to cut to that. So I thought, until I had heard the next day that his neck was broken, I thought, okay, this sets up a really good, the New Day, all three members back together. Xavier will be good to go by WrestleMania, but that's probably not happening now.
I want to talk about this just for a second, and I know this is like way, way, way back, Monday morning quarterbacking on this, and as I said, once we talk about the actual event itself, in a minute, but in an alternate timeline, Big E isn't in a fucking stupid tag match with the New Day stuck back in the middle of SmackDown in your opener. He's in a singles competition match, possibly with the world title or trying to regain the world title at WrestleMania. Now, again, I know what that sounds like, and I'm not trying to put that out there as that, but the fact that you have no direction at all in your company for somebody who should be a superstar and is a superstar. What was that word, Joseph, that I had an issue with and everybody said when he won the title? He deserved it. And I said, no, the motherfucker earned it. He earned his spot to not be in a tag match, jerking the curtain, getting dumped on his head by accident. Sad. Again, much like Scott Hall, on behalf of Powerbomb Weekly, Joseph and myself here, we wish Big E, whose name is I can't say his first name for real. Eljor.
Yeah.
Eeyore, I'm not making fun of you, man. I can never remember how to pronounce your first name, dude. You're a fucking rock star, dude. And the Instagram and Twitter posts that you have put up from your bed,
apparently one of the nicest human beings you'll ever meet.
Fucking inspire me, dude, to be better at being a person, because you could easily get on there and just be like super down or not even want to communicate with anybody. But the fact that you're taking the time out to say, hey, I got fucked up, but stay positive. I'll be all right. I'm good. Thumbs up. You're showing everybody that you're good. That's super cool, dude. I appreciate that a lot. Apparently, he broke his C1 and C6. They are fractured. Big E will probably never wrestle again. Breaking the C1 is the most important one that could possibly happen. His doctors have come out and said that the fracture for the C1 is usually the one that you have fracture, and then you have paralyzed, and then you have death. Luckily, he did not get the other two. He just got the it's broken problem. The C6 will heal naturally. The C1 that will heal naturally. He will not require surgery, which is good. But because of the damage to the C1, we will probably never see Big E in a wrestling ring performing again. I imagine they'll probably bring him back as like the Raw GM at some point in the next year, if he's able to come back.
So the rest of the show pretty much sucked. Naomi and Sasha Banks with Natalya and Natalya's partner of the week, which this week was Shayna Baszler. Rick Boogs beat Jey Uso at a minute 47. I have a serious issue with this.
Rick Boogs was awesome. My kid loves Rick Boogs. Whatever your issue is, don't care. Rick Boogs looked fucking great. He fucking picked up one of the Usos who's legit like 230 and handled him like a little baby bird.
This is my issue.
Okay.
They said, you gotta fight the main event, Jey Uso, blah, 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 blah. I think he should have won. I'm glad he won, but I think the match should have lasted more than a minute and a half. All right. Ricochet had a great match with Sami Zayn. I forgot Sami's. I honestly forget Sami Zayn can wrestle sometimes. I really do. And then the only way you can have a good Charlotte Rousey moment is if you pre-tape it and you can edit it later.
That parking lot brawl sucked so much ass. I thought it was so bad.
But it was better than what they've done in the ring.
It was much better than anything they've done in the ring. But it was one of the worst parking lot brawls I've ever seen in my life. And
the fact that Charlotte changed her outfit completely within an hour.
Well, of course, because Charlotte always changes her outfit from one to the next whenever she traverses from one camera zone to the next camera zone. But overall, that was fucking terrible, that parking lot brawl. Who the hell was the ginger?
I don't know.
Who is this ginger who randomly shows up? What was it?
I thought it was Joseph Parks at first.
And here's the thing. Joseph, I got a question.
Oh my god, I wanted to move on.
No, I want to ask this question.
Go ahead.
You've had a fight, right?
I've been in a fight or two.
You've been in a fight, right?
Yes.
I've been in a fight, okay?
Yes.
Have you ever thrown a punch that fucking weak and that awkward to someone? Have you ever thrown a punch into someone's shoulder using this part of your hand going...
No.
These did not look like bitches who want to kill each other.
No, and the problem is that, if they let Ronda Rousey throw punches that could kill people.
They look like shit because Ronda Rousey can't box.
Right, and she would actually kill. Alright, so.
I don't know.
SmackDown sucked.
SmackDown sucked. Get better, Big E.
Alright.
And if it's a test of the water for Butch, we are drowning in shit.
Yep. See Gunther. Alright, so AEW had a much better show. Not a great show, but a much better show. Moving on with some storylines.
I saw
first thing
one match.
So the first thing that we started off with, a lot of this was a lot of the matches were pretty good. Some of the matches, they did a couple of the where you talk about before. Why did this match happen? It didn't make sense. It was just two people thrown together matches. They did a couple of those, which you kind of got to do once in a while. So this was a lot of the story, the story after the story. Yes. So Jericho came out, And it was so WWE-esque. It really was. You know what? I said I was going to shake your hand. You gave me the best match in the world. He spoke a lot of truth because he really did. And he commented about how, Eddie Kingston, who I completely believe that the man we see on camera is the person in real life. And he talked about, he said everything he said in the ring that he had said in the interview after the ring.
This is the most annoying pop-up ever.
I know. I'm sorry.
You're good.
And he talked about how after he was done with that match, he went home and cried. All he wanted, he almost didn't show up. He just wanted to drink himself out of the match.
Thank you.
He has never felt he deserved this. He said all he wanted was a pizza and he doesn't drink anymore. He just wanted some pizza and pass himself out after that match and after that high. And I think that I'm so glad that Eddie won that match. I think it was a testament. Jericho's like, you're right. I deserve it. You deserve a handshake. And then he turned and he beat the shit out of Eddie Kingston. And then everybody else beat the shit. So the inner circle is completely broken up.
Yes, but and this is I did see this part, and I need to talk about this just for a second. Why does Jericho have to have a fucking faction everywhere he goes now?
Because he can't do it himself. He can't do it on his own. That's why he has to always hop on to the next best thing.
And as we have talked about, Chris Jericho just has to leech off of the next best thing, right? But he has to have his buddy with him.
Hager.
He has to have his buddy because...
Even though it looked like Hager was not going to come along, but we all knew he was.
He has to have his buddy with him. Joseph, what is the name of Chris Jericho's new faction?
I haven't heard.
It's the Chris Jericho Appreciation fucking Circle or something like that.
Okay.
I'm not making this up. It's the Chris Jericho Appreciation Club or something.
God, you were making that up. Adam Page wrestled Dante Martin in what I thought was like, why? But Dante Martin proved that the kid has got it. He's 5 years from now, Dante Martin is going to be...
All right. So, I want to calm you just for a second. I want to ask this question,
yes.
Okay? Dante Martin can do a lot of cool stuff, right?
Right.
He's bland as fuck.
Yes.
He is boring as shit.
He looks
Does he cut a promo?
No.
Can he talk?
Not really.
Is he a character? Is he literally only based around the fact that he can do flippy shit?
So the thing about Dante Martin, he looks like he's scared with everything he does and says. He doesn't have, I think, the greatest confidence. He's better with his tag team, with his brother. It's a tag team. Honestly.
Okay, there we go. Fine. That's
I think this was the transition out of... He was the #1 contender based on rankings, which you know is bullshit.
Which we all know is bullshit. But what I'm getting to is that Dante Martin can do some really great athletic things. Okay? Yes. AEW has a problem of... There's a lot of guys on the roster who can do a lot of great athletic things. Yes. He's wrestling your world champion because he could do athletic things?
No, because his win-loss record.
That's fake.
Just telling you that.
I hate to use the F word when we talk about this show, but...
That's why.
It's fake. So his fake...
It was a transition match.
I mean, that's fine. I accept that, but...
It was a reason for Adam Cole to come out and...
I mean, I guess the difference is that Adam Cole had to fight the monster in the Murder Hawk, and then he had to have his legit match with Adam Cole, the worker, so now he has to have the monkey fucking flip match with the Spot Fest guy, right?
To prove that he can
wrestle every style, right?
Right.
But again, talking about Dante Martin, which is where I was getting at, what makes Dante Martin eligible for your world championship match other than his fake ranking? Because he has nothing interesting about him. And the reason I bring this up is...
where are you going with this?
I'm going somewhere with this, okay? Because... are we going to talk about Punk's comments after the match where he talked about Goldberg and Bret Hart and everything?
Sure.
Okay, so Punk said essentially Goldberg's a piece of shit and Bret Hart should still be wrestling to this day. I don't know if that's 100% true that he should be doing that, but I agree with you. Bret Hart got fucked over by the wrestling business. This is well documented. We've talked about it before, okay?
Yes.
Anybody who knows anything about wrestling knows Bret Hart got fucked.
Maybe we can.
But I was listening to Cornette. Yes, because we were actually going to do a show that got canceled where we talked about Bret Hart and his bitterness now.
Yes.
But
we'll book it in the next couple weeks.
Yes, but I listened to Cornette talk about the CM Punk thing, right? And they had this interesting concept of guys who are fans now that were fans, or guys who are working now that were fans then of stuff. There seems to be almost this two-camp mode of the Bret Hart guys who put matches together, and then the Shawn Michaels style guys who are just like big spot moment get over things, right? Okay. And there's a lot less of the Bret Hart guys, I think, operating in the business today than there are the spot moments of the Shawn Michaels guys.
Okay.
Not specifically saying those two guys. I'm just using them. I'm using their words to illustrate my point, right?
Right.
Adam Page can talk.
Yes.
Adam Page has an interesting character.
Yes. No. When he's not an alcoholic, yes.
Okay, just let it go. Let it fucking go. It's been a year.
Oh, really? Okay, I'm gonna remind me when next time let me remind you next time you go on and on about something.
He's still not an alcoholic, though.
Right.
But he can do things.
Okay.
Dante Martin can do a thing.
Okay. That's why he's going to go back to being a tag team.
But why don't we just give away a championship match with Adam Page after getting his ass fucking handed to him at Revolution?
To prove that he can wrestle in a flippy match, to give Dante Martin a little more exposure before he goes to the tag team. And you needed to have a match. I mean...
No, you didn't. You're telling me that Adam Page couldn't have cut a promo?
I'm sure he could have, and Adam Cole could have interrupted. I agree. But, I don't know. It's...
This is an AEW problem that I have of just guys getting thrown together. And
the reason, guys getting thrown together. I'm not saying I agree. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm giving you the reason he had the match.
Moving on.
Okay. So then we had Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley beat these two dudes. And the whole story was so that Lord Regal could come out. And Man, Regal came out and he was emotional and he was on fire and he went through all the emotions from crying to anger to just funny.
Yeah.
And and he talked about how when he met Daniel Bryan, you know, the kid and the technical amazing, and it's crazy that you caught it in the match. Because Regal said it the next night. If you have the combination of skill and technical expertise with the unhinged of Jon Moxley, you have a team that can never be beaten and that can train anyone. Amazing promo. I was happy with every second. It apparently might have been a little long. I didn't think so because I was invested in the whole thing. And Regal came out the next day and apologized and said, I will never blow my time again because he blew his spot by like 30 seconds. His interview went a little longer than it should have.
30 seconds. I'll listen to Regal talk for 30 seconds.
Right. So, but the match was good. Pac wrestled Wheeler Yuta. I don't know why. This didn't make sense. It happened and it was over. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus versus... I cannot stand the Acclaim.
I hate the Acclaim.
I'm glad they lost.
I hate the Acclaim.
Thunder Rosa versus Leela Hirsch. We will bring it up real quick.
Yeah?
Just because. Leela Hirsch is no longer from Russia. She is from New Jersey. She was born in Russia. And when she was like 5 or 6 years old, she moved to New Jersey. She used to be hailing from Russia because it was good for the character. Her ring gear is red, white, and blue, which looks like the Russian flag. Hey, Mike, what other flag is red, white, and blue?
A lot.
Okay.
A lot of them.
France,
are red, white,
United States.
Yeah.
So, people calling her out because she was wearing the Russian flag as a Russian sympathizer. You guys need to go start a shotgun.
Yes. No. We're not allowed to say that. We'll get banned. The thing with that is that I don't understand. Like, I mean, I guess I get it. Like, I do, but I don't. Okay, it shouldn't be. This is the part somewhat of. You know, I really hate. And I know we're going to get off the weeds in this, but I promise this is about wrestling inherently. Okay, wrestling is about characters. It's
Yes.
about presentations. We've always fought the evil Russians, okay? Rocky IV, with Ivan Drago, all right?
Right.
With, and then we've had Nikita Koloff, and then we've had our Bulgarian Brute most recently, okay? And other things, all right? We've always had our evil Russian. I don't know what's going to happen with Ilya Dragunov. I'm so scared for that man right now, okay? But this is the thing that I just kind of want to talk about. This is the other part of the cancel culture, and I know that's a great word everybody loves to use, that kind of bugs me a little bit, because it's like, she's fucking Russia!
Right?
Could she not be proud to be Russian?
It's not
You
like...
can be proud to be Russian and use your Russian heritage in your gimmick of Russian wrestler without supporting Putin in the war.
It's not like 2 years ago, which I belong to a Facebook page called Wrestling Images Not Soon Forgot, Too Soon Forgotten. And it was, remember like 3 years ago when Miro came out with his medal that he got handed from Putin?
Yes.
And they had Putin on the Titantron.
Yes.
It's not like that!
How things have changed. The point that I'm getting at is that are you going to go out and, like, remove all of Ivan Drago from Rocky IV because he's Russian? Are you going to go out and remove all of things because
Wolverines.
of this?
The movie with Wolverines. Red Dawn.
Oh, I thought you meant, like, the Wolverine.
No, Red Dawn. Red Dawn.
Yeah, well, no, because...
Ooh, Whiplash from Iron Man 2.
Oh, yes. My point that is that we can't be sensitive to everything that's fictional. And this is a real person with real things portraying things in a fictional manner. You can't be that upset about it. Now, maybe tone it down for a moment. Maybe tone it down just a bit for a moment. Just dial it back a bit. But if this was Vince... And Vince has got the biggest balls of anyone on the planet.
Hulk Hogan would be fighting Russia.
But, yes. But on top of that, you could damn sure guarantee that he would bring Ilya Dragunov over. Well, he probably doesn't know who Ilya Dragunov is, okay?
He'd get Nikolai Volkov out of retirement.
I think Volkov's dead. Volkov might be alive. I don't remember. I think he's dead. But anyway, someone would be hired to come in and be a pro-Russia Putin sympathizer and get on the mic and tell everybody how Russia's going to take over the whole world and make everything better again. Vince would do that shit.
He would. He absolutely
That'll
would.
probably be at WrestleMania, truthfully. But Vince is old and he wants to appease the shareholders and he knows that would be really bad in today's climate, okay? But that's my point, is that we can't get super upset at certain things. We can be upset about the right things, but maybe not this thing.
So, most of the rest of the story, so FTR fired Tully Blanchard.
I didn't see that coming.
I did not either.
The only thing that when that happened and FTR fired them, I was like, okay. I was like, well, maybe FTR is getting primed for something. Then the other thing I thought of was like, what did Tessa do now?
That's what Dad said.
Yeah.
Dad's like, oh, Tessa's coming in.
They're like, I wonder what Tessa said now.
So now the rumor is they're going to bring in Bret Hart as their manager. That's a lot on the internet. FTR. So we'll see what happens with there. If AHFO fired the HFO, which we kind of talked about already, and Jeff Hardy danced his way into the save.
Okay, there we go. We got to this thing. I know we're trying to blow through a little bit of this last little bit here, but I do need to bring up the fact of, this is what I wanted to talk about. When we talked about it earlier with the meme section. When we all knew Jeff Hardy was coming in.
Yeah, it was his...
And we're going to have a long-form discussion about Jeff Hardy because I, for one, do not understand how he is not suing the fuck out of Vince right now, okay? Instead of them trying to figure out how to sue AEW over Jeff Hardy. Also, I don't really understand why the bidding war for Jeff Hardy happens. He's about 15 years past his shelf life, in my opinion, other than the fact that he's over because he's over, okay? But when they brought Jeff... When Jeff was coming in, and I said, I really hope they don't put him with Matt right off the bat.
Right.
And I said, I really want Jeff to be on his own and have nothing to do with Matt and have them maybe just two ships in the night once in a while, and then they do the Hardy Boy thing. I'm guessing Jeff and Matt are really getting ready to retire seriously, and they'll probably have about a year or two worth of programming, and then they'll be gone at that point. Because I figure both of them want to be done at this point with in-ring performance. But big fucking mistake to have Jeff Hardy come in and immediately team with Matt.
Okay. So,
big mistake.
Other thing I want to talk about this segment is you had a group who were supposed to be together, who then the entire group turned on the one individual. Didn't this happen an hour before?
Yes.
Same exact thing!
Yes. It happened...
Again!
3 times in this show?
No, just twice.
Oh, that's right. Didn't it happen on Rampage too, though?
Kinda.
Okay.
So Jeff Hardy comes in. Now, then Sting comes out to... Sting and Darby come to make the save.
Yeah.
Because paint facer's got a paint face.
Yeah. Didn't we have a meme a few months ago about all the paint face people teamed up together?
Now, do you think that this is the first time that Jeff and Sting have been in a ring together since what happened 8 years ago today?
No.
Did they fight again after?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, I don't know. I wasn't...
I have a bit of a mental block when it comes to TNA at that time, but...
yes.
Yeah.
So... and then there's another meme now where it's like Sting, so Darby, Jeff, and Sting, and it's like Baby Bear, Mama Bear, Papa Bear. The evolution of the face paint.
Going back to our 2K discussion we had earlier, the first rivalry that I had when I got to NXT was with Cameron Grimes.
Nice!
I had to fight Cameron Grimes as... It's weird that he was old Cameron Grimes, also with the new character of richest man in WWE, Cameron Grimes. But the reason I bring that up is because Cameron Grimes was a heel, and we got into it, and then Jeff Hardy got involved. And Jeff Hardy showed up in NXT, and I had to fight Cameron Grimes and Jeff Hardy in a tag team match. And the announcers were like, "Oh my God, it's Jeff Hardy! Jeff Hardy's here in NXT! Jeff Hardy, the greatest superstar of all time!" And I was like, man, I bet you guys wish you could have rewritten this game before launch.
All right, Wardlow did his official goodbye to MJF in the ring. Was it smart to have MJF nowhere on this program?
Yeah.
I think so too.
Absolutely.
Punk and MJF are selling their injuries.
Yeah, they just got the fuck beat out of them in 30 minutes, yeah.
And he said, I did a lot of bad things, and I think what's going to end up happening is he's going to, if I'm going to book it, he's going to have to wrestle to get a contract and get out of his contract. Because remember, he's a bodyguard, not a wrestler.
But he wrestles.
Right.
No.
So, I believe...
Well, he'll probably have to wrestle Maxwell to get out of it, because what happens is either that... Or what they're going to do is they're either going to do a program of wrestling of MJF is going to try and take the thing from him, and then they're going to have the fight, and then whoever gets the thing is going to get the thing, right? Or what he's going to do is they're just going to be very simple, and he's going to come out and say, you want to be a wrestler? Fine. I want your contract for that, and I'll release you from your bodyguard contract.
Here's the problem. That match happens next week.
Oh. Well, I guess we'll find out.
Announcements. We talked about Britt's going to wrestle in a steel cage against Thunder Rosa, so there can be no shenanigans.
Yeah.
And then the final match of the night, Scorpio Sky takes the belt from Sammy Guevara.
I didn't see that happening.
Oh, nobody saw that coming.
I wonder if Sammy got hurt.
And then, during his leap of faith, and then... his real-life girlfriend, not Leela Hirsch. Is it Leela Hirsch?
It's Layla Hirsch, isn't it? No, it's Statlander, isn't it?
Yeah, no. Scotlander's with Caleb with a K. It's the girl from not Anna Jay, the other one.
Okay, yeah.
So anyway, she's down there protecting him. Didn't we just see 6 months ago him propose to a woman named Pam in the middle of the ring?
Yes.
They broke up. It's all legit, but it's like we never mentioned that they broke up. We're just going to bring her in.
Also on the Wonderful House Kayfabe page, and our good buddy Brian Resner was basically front row and center for some of this, and he has a nice chunk of the table that Sammy crashed through that he later got autographed.
Nice!
I believe I have the pictures, and I'll try and share them onto our page for you guys, so that way you can see that, you know, how close he got. He got a picture with Tony Khan, got a picture with Jeff Hardy, got a picture with Hangman Page walking through the arena.
Sweet.
And by the way, Tony Khan still has the fakest looking real hair I've ever seen. And now there's actual like cell phone shot footage of him with it. It is so bad. It's literally a mop on that motherfucker's head. Just
so yeah, the title change, Scorpio Sky. So next week it will be Scorpio Sky versus Wardlow for the TNT Championship.
So Wardlow will be the TNT champion, is what I'm hearing.
Or MJF Shenanigans.
Rampage posted its lowest numbers ever, barely cracking.
Yeah. And it wasn't the greatest show either. At all. Swerve Strickland in the main event against Tony Nese, and they kept referencing 205 Live.
Yep. Darby and Mark Quinn, it was fine.
Yeah.
It was good.
Keith Lee beat up QT Marshall as he should have.
Why? Finally, we got back out of the stupidness with Keith Lee.
Jamie Hayter beat up, somehow defeated, because of shenanigans.
Makes no sense.
Yeah. Was not the greatest Rampage ever, but it was better than what the train wreck that happened on SmackDown. Oh, I'm sorry. The best thing that happened on SmackDown was Pat McAfee losing his shit against Austin Aries. But I don't know Austin Theory.
Yeah.
But I don't know why Austin Theory even showed. It was like, oh, Wild Austin Theory appears. He was just back for commercial and he's sitting there. Why?
Yep, made no sense.
All right,
so once again, AEW in 2 shows does what WWE. They did it better than WWE has in 3 shows.
So here's something that I don't think has happened in a long time. You're more of the wrestling historian.
Okay.
I don't. This is. In the last 2 weeks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 title changes have happened from all the major companies.
Okay.
So on Raw, Finn Balor got it from Damian Priest. On SmackDown, Ricochet took it from Sami Zayn.
I thought he was going to lose it back this week.
The Sacrifice pay-per-view, you had 3 tag team changes. Yeah. Then on Raw, the next Raw, you had the tag teams. The NXT, you had Ziggler. And then at AEW Dynamite, Scorpio Sky. I mean, does that seem like a whole lot of tag team or a lot of title changes and just... Is it because we're in the WrestleMania season getting ready for WrestleMania?
Yes. Well, the reason for that is they have no direction, truthfully, these guys, for what they're going to do. So they're just throwing darts at the fucking board. But you also have to remember, too, that all of these people are going to run shows with WrestleMania weekend.
Have you heard what it's called?
The
Multiverse of matches?
Yeah, so they're going to run at the same time. So they're trying to generate as much interest as they can for WrestleMania weekend. I don't know if anybody's going to be super crazy like they were last time and try and run like the building across the street from them, you know? But that's why we're seeing all this shuffle come around, is because they're trying to generate interest right before. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's a good idea. It's definitely for the WWE. It's not a good idea because, again, other than the spectacle of WrestleMania, why the fuck would anyone want to watch WrestleMania right now?
Okay, so you ready? You ready to get on your... You ready? You primed? Ready?
Yeah.
All right. So, in the last 2 months, this move has broken one neck and almost broke another.
Who was the other? What, Madcap?
Yeah.
Madcap got hit with a reverse Alabama slam, which is a stupid fucking move to take anyway. Jim Cornette talked about it, and I agree with it.
Okay, I thought it was the same overhead suplex.
No, this was not. And Big E was not done with a suplex.
This was the closest picture I could find.
Big E was done with a belly-to-belly overhead release suplex. Okay?
I couldn't find a picture of it, okay? You get the point.
So this is a suplex. Yes. It sucks to get fucking suplexed, okay? I've done amateur wrestling. It sucks. The problem is I'll try and do it for everybody here, okay? The reason I said it was both of their faults, okay?
Yeah.
It's both and nobody's at the same time, okay?
Right.
the point is for the suplex is obviously you want the shoulders going down for the mat for that, right? And we saw, well, the other thing is Bobby Lashley got his shoulder messed up because of the multiple German suplexes from Brock Lesnar, okay?
Right.
The issue with the Big E suplex and Ridge Holland is that
Drew,
when he picked him up to go overhead, what he did was Big E did not get up enough and rotate over to get out of it because you're supposed to be being popped up and launched, right?
So do you think that's possibly because he wasn't in the ring for the springiness and they were on the floor?
I don't know. I
Okay.
don't know what happened there. I think it might just be because Ridge Holland's taller than him, and maybe the way he had him, he wasn't able to get up. The other problem is that as you can kind of see from this angle, from this particular move, if you rotate this person's body
Right.
and put it belly to belly, right, this is basically where Ridge Holland released him at.
And he needs to flip all the way.
Forcing him to lawn dart directly into the ground. So Ridge, when he released him, was way, way back in his arch that I saw, which basically catapulted him like that into the ground. When he popped him, he should have gone back and popped him up and came back with the move and let Big E do the rest of the rotation around.
Right.
So that's kind of what happened is that Ridge did this maneuver as the suplex, and Big E went, instead of going up and over onto the shoulders like that move does, he went like that, right into the ground. And the weight of 330 some pounds landing on your fucking neck is not good. That's kind of why, what I saw, and I'm probably talking out of my ass for the most part because I don't know what the circumstances around it was, and I didn't get to see a good shot of it, but that's what I saw is that he basically just ended up, one guy didn't get over in the rotation to take the move, and the other guy released him too far back in the arch of the move. It's a freak accident. It's a completely freak accident, and all it would have taken is a couple degrees difference, and Big E probably would have been okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, final thoughts. Before we get into your final thoughts, a couple programming notes.
Ooh.
Okay. So next week we're going to have a normal show.
Okay.
The following week, on the 27th of March, we will be in studio doing a co-show with...
Go ahead, continue.
the 27th, which is the weekend before WrestleMania. We're supposed to do a co-show with Outlaw. We're going to do a show together, and then we'll do our show in our time with Kevin, and then we'll bleed into their show a little bit, and then we'll leave.
Wait, we're going to do that on the 27th?
Yeah.
Okay.
The weekend before WrestleMania.
Okay.
And then we're not doing a show on the 1st.
Yeah.
We're not doing a show on WrestleMania weekend.
We're not doing a show on the 3rd?
Correct.
Okay.
Because that's WrestleMania weekend.
All right.
We're probably not going to do a show on the 10th because I will be on vacation. We'll see what happens. I can't promise. I'm not 100% sure yet. And then we will probably not do a show on Easter Sunday.
So we're literally not going to talk about WrestleMania.
No, we're going to talk about wrestling. That's
When?
impossible.
In May?
Again, I'm working on... I'm not sure on the 10th. We will probably do one on the 10th. I'm not 100% sure. But we'll do one on the 10th or the 17th. One of the two.
I was like, I think you have successfully just killed the show.
No.
If we take a month off...
We'll make it work. We will make it work. I'm going to be on vacation from the 3rd through the 9th. So.
Damn.
Right.
Damn. Okay.
If we have to do a remote in show on the 10th, we'll do it on the 10th.
Man, I guess I'm just going to have to fucking be in control of all this, huh?
And then in May, we're not going to do a show during... we're probably not going to do a show during Mother's... We may or may not do a show during Mother's Day weekend. We'll see.
You know, the funny thing about that was I was going to actually tell you we might not have a show on the 27th.
Oh, really?
But now if we're going to have to go to Kevin's studio, I forgot, then we will definitely... I will try and make that work.
Okay.
Okay.
Otherwise, I will be doing the show with Kevin.
Well, yeah, I'll have to be there because there actually has to be some kind of talent on.
Oh, you hear that, Kevin?
Show.
You're not talent.
I meant from us, not from you. I meant there has to be some form of talent show up for your show.
You know what's going to happen on the 28th, the day after our 27th show?
What's that?
I'm going to go see Journey.
Sorry.
With Billy Idol.
I like Billy Idol.
I like Journey. And then...
You like Malaysian Journey?
It's all right. And then on the... yeah, we got a lot to talk about in May. I'm going to be taking my wife to San Francisco the weekend of the 22nd. So there's a lot going on. We may be taking a summer vacation.
You have effectively killed the show. Cool.
I have not.
Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You will be able to probably see me continue to host the show for Powerbomb Weekly because I'm going to figure out all this internet shit and have to be in control of this bitches.
I'll teach you how to do it. You know what? You know how to do this. You used to do Facebook Lives for Avalon.
On my phone, I just go to my phone. I don't even know how to get into the page. I just post stuff. It just says admin, so it just lets me do stuff. I don't know how to do things. This is all I would do for the thing. I would just be like,
yes.
What up?
That's all you got to do for this.
There we go.
Maybe have a little stand.
Maybe I need a stand. I don't know. Okay.
Maybe I'll let you borrow mine.
Okay.
Maybe I'll just give you the keys to the house. You come in here and do it. You just won't have any of this in the background.
I know how to turn TV on.
Well, I'm not going to build the PowerPoint for you.
Email me that shit. You're on vacation. What else are you going to be doing?
We'll see what happens.
Okay.
Do you have final?
I really don't.
We're gonna cut all of the scheduling off when we do this on
WrestleMania looks like shit. Everything looks like shit. I'm really sorry Big E got hurt. I like Big E a lot. I'm really sorry that a lot of guys are getting hurt. WrestleMania season is starting to remind me of the one from, WrestleMania 31, where everybody just was fucking injured and they basically had no card to put on, and then all the matches sucked and everybody got injured in the matches. Like, the thing, I guess I do have a final thought here with this, okay?
Okay, we'll edit everything up between that.
Okay.
So, hey, do you have a final thought?
Yeah, so I have a final thought for this. WrestleMania is definitely having some issues right now, and things are not looking great. It reminds me of WrestleMania a few years ago. I believe it was 31 or so, where most of the roster was injured, and then everybody got injured at WrestleMania. And right now we're having that issue. So the problem that I'm seeing right now, and as I talked about earlier in the show, is I couldn't remember what happened in some of the matches because these people have wrestled each other so often. So why see a WrestleMania card where you just saw them wrestle on Raw in some form of another, okay?
Agree.
But if you have guys who are getting hurt who aren't going to be able to make it to the card, obviously, I'm not hamming that up on him, but does that not go to show a greater problem that the WWE has with the fact of, we fired all these people for dead weight budget cuts, but we have no one to work the fucking shows in case they get hurt?
2 nights worth.
2 nights worth. And we have people who still can't get on the card. And then you fuck people over by renaming them Butch and Sundance.
Remember all those matches we had up on the screen last week? There's still 6 more to go, apparently.
There has to be even more because that was basically night 1.
So here's my final thought.
Okay.
So I like audiobooks when I drive. I started reading Under the Black Hat, the Jim Ross story.
Oh, nice.
So far, it's been really good. I'm only 1 chapter in.
Okay.
I didn't realize he was a smoker.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's one, this is what I've learned in the book so far. There's one office in the entire Stanford office that has a window that opens. And it's the office that Jim Ross had at the time. That's the head of talent relations. And the reason it has a window that opens is because Pat Patterson was a smoker. And he wanted a way to be able to smoke. And Vince hates the smell of smoking.
Yes, Vince hates smokers.
And, well, Vince hates anything that he can't control or anything that shows weakness. And smokers show weakness, apparently.
Yes.
Because they're addicted to a drug.
Oh, I'll tell a funny Vince McMahon story.
So, and he confirmed that Vince hates sneezers.
Yes. Yes, he has said that, yes.
So, so I thought that was pretty interesting that there was in the old Stanford building, because it's now the old Stanford building, there was only one office window that had opened, and it was because Pat Patterson was a smoker, and so was Jim Ross.
Did you ever hear the story about the creation of the $1 Million Man?
No.
Okay, so Bruce Pritchard told the story on his podcast, and we'll leave with that. And this goes to show you the genius, the nepotism, and the crazy person that Vince is. Vince is on a flight, right? And this is back in the 80s when you could smoke on the flights, right? And this guy on the flight lights up this big fucking stogie, right? Mm-hmm. And he's puffing his stogie. And Vince legitimately hates the smell of cigarette smoke, hates smokers, hates everything about it, right?
Can't stand the smell of a cigar.
And he's puffing on the cigar, and Vince is like, "Hey man, can you put that out?" The guy's like, "Fuck you, it's my cigar, I'm going to smoke it." And Vince is like, "I'll give you $100 to put the cigar out." The guy's like, "Fuck you, it's my cigar, I'm going to smoke it." And Vince is like, "I'll give you $200 if you put that out right now." And the guy's puffing on it. And I think Vince gives him $300 cash. He's like, "I'll give you $300 cash right now to put the fucking cigar out." The guy says, "All right," takes the money, puts the cigar out, right? Pritchard looks over and he's like, "You are the $1 million man, aren't you?" And Vince goes, "Everybody's got a price."
And since there...
and there is the birth of the $1 million man, essentially,
Genius.
for him. Vince McMahon just gave somebody enough money to do what he wanted them to do.
That's genius. Huh.
And now that's what he does now, is he just gives people enough money to do whatever he wants them to do.
Like, wear a gladiator costume. Or call themselves Butch.
Or call themselves Butch. Or, okay, let's... I know we're super long. I do want to... I want to ask a question.
Sure.
We'll play a quick game.
Okay.
All right.
No, $20.
Okay.
God.
No. All right. We know Braun Breaker and Tommaso Ciampa have been called up, okay? I have a two-part question. First part. 1, how long before they get changed? Split apart, and Braun Breaker gets renamed and Tommaso Ciampa gets renamed. Followed by 2, who is the next person that the NXT will have brought up to the main roster, and what will they be made into?
Okay. So, Braun Breaker and Tommaso Ciampa... they will not change their name because they've already been on air as those names. I know. Go ahead, say C. Gunther. I get that. I don't think that they'll be if they're a tag team, they'll wear like. And it was funny because Wade Barrett said that's a very Steinerish gear that they're wearing when they wrestled in NXT. I just don't think I see Tommaso Ciampa wearing the Steiner spandex for very long.
He already did.
I know, but I don't see him doing it for very long.
Ah.
I think that if they come up together, it'll be more of a Braun Breaker with Ciampa as a mentor, kind of outside the ring, in the ring once in a while, kind of like Alpha Academy, where Chad Gable didn't get in the ring very often, but he would once in a while.
Okay.
And I see that lasting about 6 months, and then Ciampa quietly goes away, and just hopefully trains people at the center. That's where I see that going. And I see Ciampa, and of those two, I see Ciampa being fired first.
Okay.
The next person to be brought up will be LA Knight, and I have no clue what his name will be, but he'll probably come out as some kind of talk show host kind of guy. Like kind of like a Matt Striker kind of.
See, I would say that LA Knight will be the next one to get brought up, but I don't think they're going to change him from LA Knight to something new. And the reason for that is because they changed him from Eli Drake to LA Knight, but they still allow him to do the thing. So I think LA Knight will probably be the next one, but he won't be changed for others. The other one who I could see that they're going to bring up is the fucking motivational speaker.
John Gacy. I keep wanting to call him John Wayne Gacy.
No, it's because it fucking is.
Oh, you mean Ian Bear?
Ian Bear. I think they're going to call Ian up to the main roster next.
No, I see them bringing LA Knight, and I see Pritchard going, Vince, I got an idea. This is what we're going to do with Eli Drake. I mean, this is what we're going to do with LA Knight, right? He's going to host a show, and he's going to have like this little button that says like dumbass or something like that, and he interrupts people, and he's going to start off as like this talk show kind of guy. Because it worked so well as for Eli Drake, and we'll give him Veer as bodyguard.
No, Veer will not come. Veer is not.
Veer
coming.
actually did wrestle on Main Event.
He's been wrestling on Main Event for 4 months now. Veer is not coming to Raw. He's in IKEA. That is one of the better chairs.
All right, my name is Joey. His name is Mike. We are Powerbomb Weekly, and we hope you enjoyed our show. And please like, follow, share.
Subscribe
on the Facebook if you're
Oh,
watching
are we
some YouTube.
pandering now?
If
Are
you're
we
watching on the
pandering?
YouTube, click
We
that
are.
subscribe button. Bing!
We are pandering now.
And I have for 3 weeks in a row put this on YouTube within 24 hours.
I'm very proud of you, Joseph. You've been doing great.
Watch our show.
Have a wonderful night.
Please watch
Get
our
better,
show.
Big E.
Please watch our show.